This is the Townsend Finance Committee. Today's date April 30th, and I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:36 p.m. And again, I know we're all in person, but I'd like to do a roll call for attendance.
Mary Jane Churchill here. Carolyn Bazikas here.
David Walker here.
Sam Grant here.
Carol Hofstas present.
Don Hayes present. That is 6, and it is a quorum, and we are ready to continue. The meeting is being recorded, and it will be played back on Channel 9 and posted on the YouTube channel. There are people in the audience. Is anybody else recording this meeting? None being heard. The only recording is being done by TCAM. Thank you. Additions or deletions at this point? There is none that I'm aware of, other than I'm going to do just a small detour right now. I would like to recognize a member that is not here that has been on the board, passed away over the past weekend. She has dedicated many years to the town, multiple decades. She helped us through quite a bit, helped train a lot of us in this room, had a lot of knowledge. She had been select board member. She was on water commissioners. She was on finance committee. So far as I've gone back, she was there starting in 2006. Andrea Ward was always a voice in the room, whether she was in attendance or attending on the Zoom. So I really appreciate her and what she had passed down to me, the knowledge, and I'd just like to take a minute of silence to remember. Okay, thank you. Yeah, sorry. Wasn't expecting it to be.
Wow.
It's kind of,
It's always tough.
the Baltimore Orioles came in today, and that was one of our conversations that we had over time.
Yep.
How do you get them into your yard?
Good, I thought you were talking about the baseball team.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like, yep, they're in the yard, get the oranges out, and they'll come in.
Oh.
And grape jelly,
Oh, chili.
Yeah.
Grape jelly.
so.
Oh, somebody talked about that at bingo today about the grape jelly, but
Yeah.
they say you have to be careful because if it gets too much on their feathers, then they can't fly.
Right, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they have smaller containers and birds.
So yes, that was the topic of conversation, was feeding the birds today.
Fun.
Yep, and I was out there and the hummingbirds are in town too, so if you've got some flowering plants, get them out. Okay, work session. As we get in here, we had been reviewing the omnibus that had been provided to us, but that has now changed after last night. There were a couple of items that came out of last night's select board meeting. If you hadn't seen it or heard, one of the ARPA projects, the 100,000 for the Townsend Housing Trust, didn't have the paperwork followed up. The audit team that we have in doing our annual financial audit picked up on it. And because we are so far down and past when things needed to be in place for it, there's going to be that $100,000 transferred back and used in this year's FY26's budget.
That's nice.
So it's unexpected, but it's a one-time, and again, it helps us for FY26, but not beyond. In addition, they went into executive session, and when they came out, they had the changes. The file that was provided by Nelson this afternoon, which was forwarded out, does not have a line-by-line accounting for it. For everything, all that they did was applied the changes for the groups, the groupings. So we'll see the changes in the total in the groups, but not individual line changes. So there's maybe not a lot we can do with that other than go in and take a look at it. We can see, the changes in the old groups and the new groups. And also we have reviewing the warrant articles, but I guess I'll leave it open. Do you want to look at the warrant articles first and review it and leave the budget till last, or go straight?
Okay. When you do the art, there's not too many, right?
On the articles,
Mhm.
we'll leave the budget one for the last, but in the special town meeting, there's only 4. But the annual town meeting has total, I think it was 17 or 18. We'll go through.
Okay.
But some of them, yeah, so we'll take a look at them.
And then we'll switch to
Then
the
we'll switch
budget.
to the,
Well,
right, the budget, yeah.
the budget.
Yeah. Now, where did I put it?
All right, so,
Um,
here's the art. Did you send us the art?
We passed those out last time.
We passed them out last time.
Oh, oh.
Yeah.
My articles are- okay.
'Cause I have
I remember, okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
Okay, are you gonna put them up, John?
I'm gonna put them up so I can think about where I put them. Okay, so there's one.
We're not gonna skip around like that, right? We're gonna.
No, we're gonna do one and go for it.
We'll do 4 and then we'll do a break and do the budget and go
yeah.
back to the 13th.
Okay, I'll blow it up a little bit.
No, it gets blurry, it doesn't make any difference.
Oh, then we'll write, we'll
Just
leave
leave
it
it
to you.
so
We'll
everybody
read it
else-
out loud.
Okay, I had wanted to start with the special, or just
You want to do what?
with the special town meeting. See, these are all-
Happy birthday.
Yeah, that was in 2007. I was looking at quite a few things. Yeah.
Carol, and me.
So it's
Oh, yes, she is, I don't see.
okay, sorry, it's kind of like taking some downloads. Okay. So, sorry. Okay, get that.
Carol hasn't done it. She is. Not too much.
Oh,
Everything downloaded the annual town meeting. All right.
That's all we're dealing with next week, right?
No, when you start in the special, that you do the first article, which is reading reports, and then you make a motion to adjourn to the special town meeting and then return to the annual after.
why is some called special and not just part of the annual?
Generally, the items in the special are financial articles to deal with FY25 issues, or get ready for the FY20, what you're gonna be doing in the FY26 annual supplement.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so let me, yeah, no, let me,
That's all.
see if I can-
Just read it.
Hey,
Um,
Carol, we can, you know how you in school, you read a paragraph.
You want to go first, I'll go second. You can do that. They're not, these ones are short.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not very long.
Okay, it'll be here in a minute. Okay, so the special town meeting articles. First one, again, when you move to the special, the first article is always to see if there's any reports from board committees, commissions, or actions. Article 2 is, let me pull it up.
Oh, this is fun.
Better?
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, it's all in there. So we don't have the motions yet. We only have the articles to look at. So the first is to And again, this is the FY 25 item, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash or available funds, the treasury, the sum of 291,600, for offsetting the FY 25 snow and ice deficits under the general law. So that's where the bulk of the available free cash is going. And so this motion takes us and the budget in the BBA, which is negative, that was, and we saw the summary, it was 307,000 and change. 291,600 is the only amount available. It is the maximum available in free cash. And so the other 16 we voted in the reserve fund transfer last week. So that would total it, but again, when we're looking and voting it at town meeting, we're only looking at the balance that's in free cash.
Okay.
Now, generally, we make motions to recommend an article or not. This one seems fairly straightforward. We may get to some articles that we're not gonna make recommendations on.
That we're not gonna make them?
There's
they're
some
not
we do, yeah.
Oh,
If they're not financial, we don't. If they're financial, it's kind of like if we don't have the information.
So I think we recommend that we approve this, right? I mean, we kind of have to.
yeah.
Yeah, you kind of have to. This is.
Do we have to make a motion on that?
We should.
I
make a motion
will
to-
make the motion that we recommend approving Article 2.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have the motion and a second. Any additional questions? Okay, none being heard, roll call vote, please.
Mary Jane Churchville, yes.
Jerome Zegas, yes.
David Walker, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
Carol Houses, yes.
Don Hayes, yes. It's unanimous. Please. We'll pay our bills. Have enough money to pay the bill. Article 3, to see if the town will vote to close out old warrant articles and reallocate to renovations of Memorial Hall, including the replacement of the exterior trim, painting, and storm windows. What these are, and you can see in the, I like this. You can see in the number, the year, that this was a motion at town meeting, so there's 2 from 2023 and 1 from 2019. And so there is in the details that talk about when they were done. So there's a remaining balance in these, so the 3 are going to total $53,784.74, and that will be transferred to the special town meeting Article 3 for 2025. That would create this and move it. We don't have the funds in the capital stabilization money. We don't. There was only $80,000 or $81,000 in the capital stabilization.
Oh, capital stable.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that and the capital plan had the town hall renovations that are discussed here, the painting, the storm windows, listed and approved by capital planning. And so this is the way of funding them, is going back and clawing back money.
Okay.
So is this, where is this money sitting now? Is this money sitting in a fund?
It's sitting in these accounts. They were, and we'll talk about just the first one, because the rest are similar. So in 2019, at the special town meeting in December, we voted to say put $50,000 into an account to do some repairs.
Okay.
And, oh no, this was charter. It's kind of like, it's a little shorthand here. So there was a little money put in there and they didn't use it all. So now we're clawing back that money.
So that money didn't get put into free cash the next year?
No, because it's in an account for a specific purpose.
Okay.
So it's not going in, they're not general.
It's not general funds.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's not
so
general
that
fund.
money's still sitting there unused, and now we're proposing to take the money and apply it to this.
To close that balance and bring it back and put it into a new account for 2025.
Okay.
Okay, so if this is gonna still go to, the windows and things like that?
This is exterior trim, painting, storm windows. Yes.
Okay, have we received an estimate on this?
I don't don't know that we have an estimate on it, and the other question I had is, I don't know if they're done with the building evaluation yet, we've got a report back from the company that was doing the evaluation of all town facilities.
Because I don't, it doesn't really make sense to me that, especially we took up part of that. It would be that much,
28,000.
28, yeah.
What do you, on the 28,000, are you talking about the
Building.
old,
The building, the
Memorial Hall.
windows, the halls,
the memorial?
yeah, the windows in the hall,
Mhm.
What's
the
the,
trim.
what's the Harbor Fire thing mean?
That, that item, I'd have to go back and look at it, but that was,
Is that the new station or the old one?
Oh, like that.
I think it was, it
The one in
could have been the
the
old one, because,
The old
Cherry
one,
Hill.
let's go,
Cherry Hill, right.
Yeah. let me go back and take a look at that, that's probably evaluation I didn't get to do.
So we haven't received, anything like a,
There is no supporting documentation for these. So,
Dawn, can I speak?
sure, yep, go ahead, Veronica.
This was part of the capital plan. So Geraldine and Carol, if you look at the capital plan that was put forward in capital planning, we had voted to approve these things. They were facilities made requests for this. So look at the capital plan, and that should perhaps settle it for you.
well, I remember the capital plan very well, but,
Good.
But
well,
again,
thank you.
But was there any backup documentation, or was it just a quote that came in from department head for that?
Well, I thought a quote has come in. I thought there was a quote in now. Am I incorrect?
There's one. I have it.
There is one?
Okay,
I just don't have it.
Why haven't we written? You know, I'm confused of why we don't have the
Well,
quote, I
we-
guess.
there's,
How much is the quote for? I mean, does that leave some, is the quote lower than, John?
Yeah.
I can email it to you if you want. I have
Okay.
it on my phone. I just don't know who your email is.
Oh.
I'll
the
do
long
that.
one, yeah,
Hang on.
it's, Don Hayes, JR. Townsend, FinCom.
Okay.
At yahoo.com. Thank you. Yeah, check spam. Okay, I don't see it yet. Okay, so page 2, so that's, that one must be page 1.
I think I remember this.
How much is it? I can't see.
Okay,
Looks like 68 something.
looks like 68,900.
I'll buy that.
And then
Maybe check.
there's a detailed list. That's,
Is that an old, Or is that new?
It was March 14th of this year.
No.
Page 2. It just continues with the remainder of the work. It's being done, no additional.
So we've paid some of that, correct? A little bit left.
I don't know if we paid
So do we
any.
have-
I don't think they did anything urgent.
Oh, okay.
Well, if they just, if the, if the invoice is from last month,
This is not this is an estimate.
an estimate, so we don't know if any of the
We're
work's
looking
been.
into the money. So if we took the money from
I,
whatever's left over from facilities last year, do they have anything left over?
Well, the article's looking to transfer, how much was it?
53,
53.
so they look, these 53,784, let me get PVA.
Oh, bless you.
Bless you.
Facilities, there is still repair and maintenance for the buildings, there is still balance. At the end of March, it was 20,000, still there.
Okay, so there's-
20,000, so you take some of this added to the 53, you can,
Yeah, and you have enough.
you'd have enough. I don't, yeah. So we have to make sure that that's the plan, is to use the existing building funds.
So just a quick question,
Yeah.
really off the awareness. So would, I'm just putting it out there. Would fixing those windows in the Memorial Hall, would that constitute like an emergency situation? That which would be
if-
made available by our reserve funds possibly?
It's really not. These are long needed repairs. So if there was something that caused the damage like that, then I'd say yes. But to your point, can we do something with the reserve fund, even if it's not an emergency? The answer
Not an
is-
emergency, one of the windows blew out,
It-
right?
Yeah, if we had that kind of emergency, there may be, but we'd be looking at their account and seeing $20,000 in there for repairs, so we wouldn't do that. However, one of the items that I've read, we can present at, and we have a town meeting come up, see if we can do it where the town votes on approving the reserve fund, because it's not for an emergency.
Okay.
We have the
Available
emergency.
money.
We have, yeah, available money, similar to the other transfers, because we are, tomorrow we will be in the municipal transfer relief window. The last 2 months of
Oh,
the
right, you
fiscal,
told us that, yep.
yeah, the last 2 months of the
Okay.
fiscal year,
Mhm.
if there's money
But
available.
if we make this transfer, that with what they have remaining in their budget,
It's enough to
they have
cover that
enough to cover
invoice.
this work.
Right, so, I don't know, I don't know what other invoices Rob may have coming in. They may have monthly maintenance or contracts that they have that are gonna come out of there, but it's looking like, there could be money there to help cover the total of the quote of 69,000. But it needs to be covered when, we'll need to see what the plan is to cover the other 16,000 for that quote.
Okay.
And
so-
again, that's, what happens if it goes over. It's an estimate. If it
We'll have
doesn't.
to see.
At some point, we have to.
He doesn't
Yeah.
typically go over unless,
Hmm,
He's usually pretty good.
This
He's
is
usually pretty
emergency.
good. He's-
well, no, I mean, unless it's something unexpected,
Right,
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 yeah.
right, unexpected, which is the reserve
And
fund
there's a,
situation.
yeah.
Okay. So can we wait to figure that out?
We can. Yeah, we can. I mean, if we're gonna do recommendations, we need to do them and print them before the annual town meeting date on the 6th, so we'll have to schedule something for, say, Monday and finish them up.
Yeah, Monday at least.
So what do we, think we need to know from
we need to know where the rest of
where the
quote
rest
is-
of it, where the balance is
Yeah.
coming from.
Yeah, the quote's for 69,000 and we're moving 53.
The 69 or
Well,
68, I thought it's.
Maybe it's
68.9.
68.
It's 68.9.
I don't know.
Yeah, which is essentially 69, so.
And he had something left over in his budget, right?
Right now, at the end of March, there was money in the budget, yes.
How much is,
68,900.
68, okay.
right,
So that's probably why I rounded up to $100.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
So can we find the 24 somewhere else, like in professional services or some other spot
Um,
and move it?
yeah, I called up his BBA again.
We're talking about Rob.
Well, yeah, the facilities. There is facilities professional services money available at this point. It's 26% used, so there's 24,000. So there's a couple of accounts in facilities that looks like they might be able to make up the difference. So again, that's one of those, it was approved.
well, the
Like-
building's falling down, I mean,
Right,
we should be doing something about it.
Heat's going out the windows, it's kind of like all
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
those
yeah,
things, it's
yeah.
kind of like, so sealing the windows and doing that kind of thing is gonna improve the
Mhm.
energy costs and bring that down, so we're not doing it, and I'm sure that's why your capital planning,
Is exactly
Is
why our
approved
capital plan approved it.
right, so
Yeah.
it's kind of, so. um,
So can we say that, can we make a motion that we take the money from alternative funds, being that,
Well, I
Professional
mean,
we can
service?
recommend the article, but
Oh, okay.
during the discussion, we need to see where the other money's coming from. It's kind of like, it needs to be, if it's presented, so, and that's why I say maybe we want to hold off until we know the whole story of where is the rest of that 68.9 coming from.
so the cruiser, that's part of it, right?
No, cruisers, okay,
I only have cruiser.
cruisers in the regular annual town meeting article for capital.
Well, so can that, we found an alternative way to,
We have seen something, but I don't know what the plans are from leadership.
for what?
From
Leadership being,
Board of Selectmen Town Administrator.
Oh, they don't
what their plans
present
are.
anything to us?
No, we don't have the motion, and there's no discussion about this
Oh.
article yet. All that we have is the warrant article to discuss, and the warrant article is looking at it. The warrant article was moving $53,000 into an account, but looking at it, the invoice is for 69, so there appears to be a gap. So we're looking for an answer where how the gap is gonna be covered.
Okay, so
okay,
what
we
is
can go
the
to
gap?
professional services, right?
Maybe,
Maybe, we
Okay.
could go to reserve,
but
maybe.
it could be, as we do this at town meeting, we'll set up the new account number, and then there could be a municipal transfer request to take it from one of those accounts and
So
facility.
we're gonna revisit this,
I think we need to
Before the
revisit
meeting.
one, right,
like,
yeah, and just to make sure it's all to the
Okay.
quote,
All
all
right,
to the
right,
estimate.
okay, we'll leave it over.
Okay, so at this point, we'll make no recommendation on Article
This
3.
is town hall.
pardon me?
Town hall,
Where's Memorial Hall?
oh, no,
Oh.
Memorial Hall, that's it.
Yeah,
That's what I kind of thought, that
Right.
they're both one and the same, and.
Yeah, it's the same building,
Kind of
just different, yes.
Thank you, I thought so.
Cause we have the
I'm
roof,
looking around the place for all the other buildings, and
Yeah, see that, we had moved, when you look at that article, the 2023 article for the town hall roof and rec stairs,
Mhm.
there had been money for the rec roof. And when that was done, there was money left over, and we moved that 26,749 into another special town meeting article for the town hall roof and the rec stairs, never used it, so that's why that full amount.
So we had 23,000 extra.
Well, it's 26, but not, it's,
26.
but we're moving that in this article. This article is taking that, that's part of the 53,774.
I thought they put the roof on a couple years ago, didn't they? I thought we had HTC, didn't they put the roof on?
On the rec building?
Rec building,
Yes,
yeah.
and that's what I'm
Oh,
saying, is they
okay, yeah.
allocated
We didn't
$50,000,
spend all the money.
they estimated $50,000.
Okay, right.
We voted at town meeting to put $50,000 into the rec
Yeah,
hall roof.
okay. that's-
And that is
Yeah.
20.
And it was, yeah, it was 24
Mhm.
or 23 and change, which left the 26,749.
Okay. All right.
So your general feeling is to not make a recommendation on Article 3 yet
No,
until we
I-
get more information?
Until we get more information, this is a part, this only partially funds it. I mean, you know, it's kind of like, if the rest of it is gonna come, that's nice, but we don't have that answer right now, so,
Okay.
we'll see what the plans are.
Mhm.
Article 4, to see if the town will close out old warrant articles and reallocate to the capital stabilization account. The balance is indicated below for a total of $26,329.20. On the first one, you can see no year, so it's kind of like, I don't know exactly when that account was set up. But you can see the other two are 2016 and 2018.
Mhm.
And so those are no longer,
So that's my,
this money that was allocated at the town meeting, it
And now they-
wasn't,
and they didn't use all of it.
they didn't use all of it.
And so they only just want to put it back into the capital fund.
Right, yeah,
So we
Well, that's
should
a
make a
good place to
motion.
put it. So I'll make a motion that we recommend this article for approval.
I'll second that.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
What do you mean by the American Legion? What were we doing there?
I can't, I don't have the
All right.
details. Yeah, it's kind of like, there was an account set up for it. It doesn't have a year, so there's no way to go back and
All right.
reference where it came, where they had actually done that. It is
Okay.
some special town meeting or annual town meeting allocated the money for that, and that's the description that's on the account. And that's why they're using it.
Okay.
That's good.
Yes, just, that was the other, yeah, roll call vote, we'll just keep going with both.
Sarah Jane Churchwell, yes.
Joan Zikas, yes.
David Walker, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
Carol Hoff says yes.
John Hayes, yes. Unanimous, we are doing Article 4. Special town meeting is. Now, annual town meeting.
Oh, we're gonna do all of them now?
Well, okay, if you
When
want,
did the
What was
budget?
that one
yeah.
that just came up a minute ago? Just the first, what?
That was the bill.
that was,
That's the bill.
that was the bill.
Oh, it was the bill.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So, what's that? And, I have a lot of. And thank you, Don, for. Okay, which budget would you like to look at?
Are we doing the annual town meeting articles though, or not?
We're gonna do them after the budget.
We can,
Oh, we're doing it after the, okay, that's fine.
well, it's kind of like, if, it will be part of the annual budget, so it's kind of,
Okay,
so if we look at the articles, I'm just gonna page down till I see. There's a lot of pages, 39 pages here.
yeah, I know.
And the budget's being done towards the end, or not in the beginning of. That one that one will be Article 11 when we get there, so the budget is Article 11 in the annual town meeting.
Oh, the budget is Article 11. Oh.
Right.
Oh, so this is the preliminary, then we get to the real.
We-
deal.
Yeah, so it's kind of like if you want to go through until we get to the
So you
budget,
wanna go in sequence? I don't know.
we can go in sequence and get to it. There's, Article 1, again, we're not gonna make a recommendation because it's just that generic, to see if there's any reports for boards, committees, or commissions. Article 2 is a zoning bylaw. So, yeah, so they moved zoning bylaws to the beginning,
Yeah.
so we'll hit zoning bylaw.
Well, Article 2 is appointing
Oh,
office.
sorry, yep, Article 2 is the appointing, authorize the vote to appoint town officers unless, other provisions are made by Mass General Law. So this is just saying that the select board will do the appointments that they've always done. This is
They
not,
haven't
this is-
got these changed.
no, there is no changes. This is when, and we'll take, for instance, we just had the annual elections.
Mhm.
Not all positions were voted, we didn't have people running. So now volunteers can come in
Mhm,
and apply for those, and they would appoint those positions.
I see.
They're gonna do appointments for firefighters, for police, for everybody that they usually do appointments for, on boards and
There's no
committees.
new hires.
There's no new hires, this is just appointing the people they normally appoint.
Wait, is this something that they renew every year?
This is an annual, yeah, we do it
Okay.
every year.
So are we making a motion on it?
I don't think we need to make
Oh,
a
okay.
motion on it, it's not,
Okay.
there's
No
no.
financial.
money.
But I just wanna make sure that,
Yeah.
if there's any questions about the articles, that
Mhm,
Right.
we cover them.
we cover them.
Can you make it a little bigger, please, for,
Sorry, it's kind of like, I changed,
okay, so we're on two or three?
We're on three.
we're now on 3.
I mean, is this something that we would be recommending?
Um,
Or, I mean, it doesn't seem like this is something that we would be
No.
making.
No, they
recommendations on.
generally zoning, zoning
There's no money, it's just,
right,
Yeah,
it's
but
kind of like, it's not funny,
there's no money,
So-
so I don't think.
this. No, this is the age restricted development
Yeah,
one,
we don't want to get involved.
yeah,
It's
no,
too dangerous.
this was, is planning board presenting it. Article 4, to see if,
Overnight district.
this is the floodplain overlay district, there's new floodplains out from FEMA. And so this is the adoption of the new plans. The next article. So for the scrolling, it's up.
Article 4 is multi-page.
Oh, there we are.
Article 5 is updating the Townsend zoning map with the new overlays, so.
Okay.
So there's no financial.
There's no financial impact, this is just planning board updating the zoning and adding the floods to it. Article 6, community preservation bylaw. Dave, you had a question on this one last week?
Oh, this is one that if we don't fund it, can we get rid of it?
Right.
Yeah.
And the answer is no. It's kind of like, it was approved by vote, so they can start collecting in July. This article is complementary to it, but it doesn't prevent.
Prevent them taxing us.
Right,
You have to wait 5 years, and after 5
Is
years.
that official, 5 years?
Yes, I went on the state website. I went
So,
on
but
the
if
Mass
we
state
don't, if we
website.
don't authorize the board for 5 years, then after 5
So
years,
5
can we-
years, you can rescind it.
can we,
Alright,
what happens to the money that's been collected if we rescind it in 5 years?
I didn't read all that. I just,
Yeah,
I
that
just,
is the
that,
point.
I just wanted to know about rescinding it. So
Oh,
I
you
got
just
as
wanted to get
far.
rid of it before I even
Rescinding.
started.
I thought I could get rid of it
So-
before it could
But
stop.
this is to set up, and add to the town charter.
So the town has to vote on this.
The town has to vote on this.
So what if they say no?
If they say no, the funds will be collected and they'll probably try to rework this and find out what the objection to the wording of this one is. And that's-
My objection is not to the wording, my objection is to the,
Taxes.
Yeah,
Taxes,
yeah.
the taxes.
that's,
Do all this and it's gone from my brain.
Well,
this is,
it's,
last year,
Yeah, we
on
voted on
one of the
something.
votes, they had the provision to add a 1% surtax to establish this fund,
To where? What?
to your property tax.
Uh-huh,
So you're gonna pay an additional 1% this year on your property taxes for this fund.
right,
minus the $100,000 exemption to start with.
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
And so and so this now establishes the commission to try to apply those funds someplace.
somewhere.
right.
Right.
And again, this is the committee that's gonna determine the projects. The projects have to come to town meeting.
Town
vote
meeting and get approved.
and
Yeah,
to
no,
get approved.
right,
So it's kind of like, so that
Oh, so they could hold it off for 5 years by not approving the plans? Or the-
if that's a possibility, it's gonna,
And you have to, I think 10% of this, there's
I just
three
don't remember what
funds.
it was
I
for.
know.
And you have to
three
do
I
this.
know.
major
Yeah.
sections.
Yeah,
Do we know, I mean, do they haven't been selected a committee yet, correct?
No,
Right.
no, this is the.
That's what this
bylaw.
does,
Yeah.
is establish that committee.
Okay.
What are we preserving?
Well, it's
Whatever
Historical
the committee
places,
decides.
recreation
open
and
spaces,
housing.
yeah.
Say again?
Historical, recreation and housing.
Recreation is the problem,
Historical,
I find,
And some, the towns on housing,
housing.
that's not fine.
Well, I was just gonna state
Yeah.
what some of the uses were. So there's multiple things. So like other community preservation. For example, if Harbor Pond was infiltrated with the weeds that grow in Choke
Right.
Valley, you can treat that. They do that in Groton and in Tingsboro.
Right.
If folks that live in apartments wanted community gardens to grow vegetables
Mm.
because they don't have access to fields, they could do a community garden for folks. If folks in any of the historic districts, even community members, have homes that needed restoration, they could go into that. It's not necessarily for just public.
Homes for restoration.
Yeah,
What,
and
is there no, it's gotta be so old homes?
there's a whole.
What
like,
makes it
list of
historic?
all
Yeah,
of it.
it's,
No,
yeah,
it's
there's a lot of details.
Yeah.
Yes.
Historic
Yeah.
district
Yeah.
homes.
Yeah,
There's things that could be done for folks to help them stay in their homes. There's some communities that have done like the reverse tax program so that seniors can actually stay in their homes. So there's thousands of projects that have been done across the state. Yeah.
And
So there's really
usually,
interesting uses.
yeah. There's lots of information on the,
And it's matching
on the
too,
website.
so I've written some of the community preservation grants in other communities. And it helps you get matching from other foundation and philanthropic grants, and it can often be used for other federal or state funding too.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks. And like, it is a very complex piece.
So the town can figure that out.
That's up to the
It's kind of, yeah, again, it's kind of like, it's past, the financial piece is going in. And, at this point,
Oh, this is a good one. Number 7. Hmm,
yeah, number 7 was a citizen's petition to increase the, size of the select board from 3 to 5
I
members.
think it's a great.
it's a great idea. Thank you, citizen. I make a motion that we accept this without any,
Or recommend.
I recommend.
If- yeah.
okay.
There's no finance
There's
component.
no
I know,
finance,
but
but
guess what, there is. And the-
Yeah, but I think the finance component to this is negative, because this is gonna add more cost to the Board of Selectmen.
Dave,
How so?
Well, because they're gonna, I mean, the,
oh, you mean going on there to
Well, yeah.
travel and their
well,
training?
whatever, that
Yeah,
whatever, there's more
the
dues you gotta
fees,
pay,
yeah,
more fees you gotta
fees,
pay,
training.
I know, but
more,
look,
more
cost.
supporting.
but look,
of
you need
different-
3 people, we've just gone through 2 years of 2 people. And then 1 people, and then nobody, and then they have little cliques and they do what they want, and then 1 5-man out.
I mean,
No,
I don't
five
see
is
how that's
over.
gonna change with 5 people though.
No, there'll be more, it'll be
No,
bigger.
but-
I don't, but I don't know, I just don't think it's gonna be any better.
Yeah.
I think you're still gonna have the same
Convince you.
problems.
We gotta figure out a way to convince him.
Yeah, it's way better.
I don't think it's gonna be any better.
Dave, is that because of your faith in humanity or?
No,
What?
no, it's because of my lack of faith.
Oh, is that what it is?
I guess I'm kind of with you.
That should be a standing ovation.
I guess I'm with you, Dave, on the
But-
lack of
So
faith.
you don't think 5 is better than 3?
I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna make any difference, is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I think it's all it's gonna do is cost, the Board of Selectmen now is gonna have more money that it needs to spend
Hmm.
to support 5 people rather than 3 people. So it's just gonna add a cost burden to the town. I'm not saying it's gonna be huge,
Right.
but I think it's
So,
gonna.
so there's,
exist.
there's that piece, but if we take, for instance, what happened last year and 2 selectmen resigned, in a board of 5, you still have a functioning board and your town can function.
Yeah.
When we were down to 1 select board
Couldn't
member,
do anything.
you couldn't do anything, you
Yeah.
didn't have a forum, you were running
Yeah.
for a couple of months, until the election.
Well, I mean,
came in. And,
the
and
answer to
so,
that is to elect better select persons.
I, in a perfect world.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
perfect.
I'll tell you about
You're
my
lucky.
experiences around the country with 3 versus 5 and 7 boards. Well, after the meeting, if you want to talk, I'll tell my experiences with 3-member boards around
Yeah,
the country.
it's kind of, and again, you can.
Oh,
it-
7,
You
you
know, the
could go
rec-
up to 7.
Oh,
I
there's
was
something.
on
No, 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 it-
12-member board once, and it worked
Yeah,
out
it's a
fine.
nine.
Yeah.
No.
It's
They
kind
have
of like
on the
those,
Supreme
those are,
Court.
those are different. I
They
think
can't do
if I
anything
look
down
at
there.
Mass General Law, 5
Oh,
is,
5 is the max.
yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Okay,
this is
whatever.
something that we have to worry about.
Okay,
right?
all right, I just,
Right.
yeah.
It's gonna, no, but, and as you read it and we'll look at our bylaws, if we approve it here, it has to go to an annual town vote, which is next April,
Which is up to the people.
which is up to the people.
Oh, yeah, the people should decide, but.
Right,
Yeah.
and the people will decide. So this is gonna say, basically, we want to get it onto the ballot next year.
Oh, right, okay.
Then you'll vote for it in April. And then after that, you come into town meeting, or they can start preparing the budget for a 5-person board. It's kind of,
See?
those are the
You
pieces.
get
It's
to-
kind of- But
Find more money.
I don't wanna find more money, I wanna find less money.
you wanna cut costs.
Yeah, I want a tax refund, right?
Exactly, yeah.
We did have a motion and a second.
Oh, did we?
On this, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
to
I'll
Make a
retract.
recommendation.
You want to
I'll
read
retract, because we need more discussion on this. We need to be able to convince more people like you and Dave.
Yeah, no, it's not that, we can take a vote, we don't have to be unanimous, we are like,
Oh, yeah, we
we
don't-
are the townspeople. And we represent, there are people on both sides of this, it's kind of
Oh,
like,
okay.
this is not, we have to
Okay, I
be.
make a motion.
Okay,
I
so-
make a
Well, I
motion.
will, if this is just to get it on the ballot,
I
I
don't
would vote
care.
for getting it on the ballot and letting the people figure out what to do.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what ballots are for.
Yep.
Exactly.
And
You
that's,
making that motion, Sam?
I'll do that.
I'll
Okay,
second.
okay, so who's doing
Sam
what
is
now?
I thought-
Okay,
Yeah.
is Sam gonna be first?
Yes.
Sam's
Put
gonna
it
be
on.
first.
You make that-
Mary's
I vote
Jane
that
is
the town
second.
puts this onto the ballot
recommend.
and then decide at the polling where or not they want them.
That's right.
This is
We
such
voted?
good time.
From
Okay,
a
you-
historical perspective, didn't they try this once before?
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Wasn't this tried before?
I don't know.
I don't,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was,
Didn't
I
go.
wanna say maybe back in 2016 thereabouts.
So sooner than that,
okay, that
Oh,
timing
yeah.
makes
but although
sense.
I've lost 4 years of my life, so I don't know what happened in 2024.
I just remember this coming up once
Okay,
before. that's-
Okay, and that's right. Oh, so we need to vote now.
We
Okay.
had a second, so.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
No.
Okay, then a roll call vote.
Mary Jane Churchville, yes.
Carolyn Bezikas, yes.
David Walker, no.
Cam Grant, yes.
And Carol Hoff says yes, because I don't mind it going on the ballot.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I have no problem being a lone voice in the
Yeah,
room.
Yeah.
no, that-
That's
and,
fine.
and again,
Everybody
we're
has an
supposed to be
opinion, yeah.
representative, so
That's-
agreeing or
that's
not
right.
agreeing.
Representative means-
5-1, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think it is
Could
the
be.
honest, I don't think we should be, it is
4-2.
Bowled
difference
over.
of opinions.
Problem comes 3-3, we're
Did you
missing a
vote?
member.
I did, I was a yes, so
Okay.
it's 5-1. Okay, revolving fund article, do we wanna skip that for now?
No, let's just
Article eight.
tackle
Get
it
it over
and
with.
get it over with.
Okay, we'll keep going in order.
Yep.
And then at some point, we can review details. So what this is at town meeting, these are the 12 revolving accounts that we have currently set up. And each one, there is like the recycling, it probably could be called solid waste. When we look at the bylaws, it said it was supposed to be set up. This
I thought
is,
there were two though. Wasn't there recycling and solid waste?
no,
No, there's just one,
just one.
but it's called solid waste in the book.
in the
In
bylaw.
In the bylaws, so it's kind of,
Solid
so,
waste.
It should
but-
be changed to follow the bylaw, or the bylaw needs to be
Mhm.
changed to
Right,
follow.
yeah.
this.
Let's follow the bylaw, 'cause it's already there.
Yeah, but I,
and again, this is naming on the account, and it's been this account for as long as I could go back and find.
Change is
And
always
so-
good though, John.
It, if necessary,
Mhm.
and so this is, the revenues are coming in from the recycling center up, on Basin Road. And those revenues are coming in, and we're paying the salaries of the people working in the recycling center as well as the removal of when
Are we
they,
able to what we're bringing in, are we able to pay them without the town paying?
that's, yeah. So the work is 2 Saturdays a month generally.
Right.
Unless you're at spring cleaning time, which is where we're in now, and they're open every weekend from like April 15th to May 31st.
Okay.
Minus the weekend for Memorial Day weekend.
So, all right, so this is for the recycling,
This is for the recycling,
but what about
For the
when they're
recycling center.
the
center?
recycling center,
Okay.
yeah.
Why do I keep getting hung up with the solid waste thing, with the tickets, or not the ticket,
The bags?
the bags, the fee,
Okay.
the other thing?
Okay, so originally, the bags were purchased as overflow bags.
Correct, right, yeah.
And that revenue went to the Board of Health in this account.
So that's a revolving, they're
That-
revolving.
That was the revolving account, and it was for the extra, again, it was only the excess, so we had two 64-gallon barrels we could put out. I think, or
Okay,
164,
so-
164.
So that
So-
means that.
So if you
So
had
it's
more
in
than
the board,
that, you
it's in
want.
another spot,
If-
okay, got
Yeah,
it.
so now,
But
since
it's
the pay
a
as you
set
throw,
revolving account now.
well,
Oh,
since,
no,
yeah, since,
different. Okay, I get it.
since pay as you throw came
So
in,
recycling, that makes sense.
Yeah. the recreation programs at 100,000 a couple of years ago, it was at 80,000 with the money that's coming in and rolling out. They're paying all their rec kids, they're paying their expenses, all of that is coming out of the recreation revolving fund.
Now, so when this says spending limit, is
Mhm.
that saying that they can't spend more than 100,000 a year?
In that account, correct.
So if more than that comes in, it just stays in that
It
account?
stays in that account. If during the year, this is approved at town meeting. If
Right.
during the year, they find that they have more money coming in and they have extra expenses, they can come to Board of Selectmen or Finance, where the two boards, those two boards can approve raising the limit before the next town meeting. So they're not stuck, but this is the annual review
Okay.
of those accounts.
Okay,
So if they get the cash, they can come to these two committees and say, we want to use it for this.
We want to spend more. It's kind of like our expenses are gonna go over this year. And we do that. And again, if we look at recycling, it was 33,000 last year.
So how does
Last year's
facilities
annual.
maintenance bring money in?
We rent Memorial Hall.
Oh, and the reading,
And,
room?
and
Okay,
the
okay.
reading room has its own,
Oh,
revolving fund, and
Oh.
we'll see that later on.
okay.
But there is some money that comes in for facilities, and
Okay.
it's there, so if they need cleaning and expenses, they can use that to pay for some expenses too.
Okay. Cemetery.
Cemetery, those are the plots and all the work associated there. Fire alarms is the fire department doing the alarm inspections. And so that comes in, the money comes in from the inspections and goes out to pay expenses associated.
Animal care, we talked about this. Well, I thought they didn't bring money in.
That one I'm gonna have to look at. It's kind of like, it sounds like
Yeah.
it should.
Where's that dog license
It should
go?
be, so I think animal control officer can charge back to people
I
and,
think so.
yeah, like you can get a ticket if your dog's running loose too much
Do
too
you
often.
get one? I mean, is that?
I don't think you necessarily do, but you can.
Hmm.
I never,
And this would, if they care for your dog and you come pick it up. then-
can't.
Yeah,
If you
like,
don't-
let's say
Yeah.
if your dog is constantly getting out,
Right,
right? Then eventually, you can start getting, she's gonna start issuing you a cite. It gets out once every 4 years. I mean,
yeah, right.
okay, hey, once every 4 years,
Mhm.
Yeah,
something might happen.
But if she has to put it in the kennel and care for it, then
Yeah.
there'd probably be a bill for it too, so. It goes in there and she can pay expenses that might be associated with it if it's not her kennels, if she had to hire out a kennel
Oh, right.
to cover.
If the dog kills a chicken, you have to pay for the chicken.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
really?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know that.
Oh, you know that.
Oh, this God, right?
Experience.
It's been, well, I don't anymore, but
If it was a chicken,
He brought the chicken back to the person.
Hmm.
Oh,
Oh.
But
But it was
the chicken was
broken
quite
neck.
dead.
good boy.
oh,
Yeah,
Fire EMS.
Yeah.
For fire EMS service.
services, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So-
so what does that mean?
Good question. It's kind of like, don't particularly know off the top of my head.
Well, we should
Let's see what,
get more info.
let's see what we got. So that was, and this is, let me find it and then I'll blow it up.
Okay, yeah, find it first. My dog ears, I have dog ears on this one.
Okay, so I don't see anything in the expenses. Let me go to. Where were we?
Oh,
What number is fire? What, series number? is it?
220?
so is this where if Pepper uses our ambulance, we get paid?
No, that's in the
Oh,
ambulance fund. That's
But
in
are
the-
they going to start paying, are they, because they've lost, not lost, they know where they are, but because we go so often to,
I don't have details on that. I believe that the fire chief is working with Pepperell to try to recover
some money?
some money, but
So he'll let us know when he's got it down,
Right.
nailed
Yeah.
down, right, yeah.
yeah, so, I don't see anything expense or there. So it's kind of like that could be one that could go away. I don't see anything in expense, no balances.
4,000.
How much is
Well,
that?
it's not $5,000
No, I get it.
fund.
I
There's no
understand.
money
It's
in
like
the
you
account,
can-
there's no account,
Mhm.
so it's an unused account. It's a piece of data.
And how
hanging
much
out
is
there.
Well, it wouldn't be in the
Like a
omnibus, right?
It would not be in the omnibus.
Yeah.
These revolving accounts are outside the omnibus.
Right.
Because there's money coming in and going out, and so.
And
there's
how much
separate-
is that? Can't see.
What's that?
It was five,
Oh,
5,000,
5,000.
5,000.
so we're gonna look at number 7 and see if that's used. Doesn't necessarily appear to be used in, um,
Conservation is 20,000.
yeah, conservation has 20,000.
What does that mean?
Um,
Oh, conservation, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
yeah,
no,
the
never
conservation commission, yeah.
Yeah,
You're tired.
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You've been looking at.
I've been looking at numbers all day,
Oh,
huh?
and night.
And night, yeah.
So,
Oh, these are revolving.
these are this is the general
Oh,
ledger
here's what
for the
happened.
revolving accounts. So,
We can't read. it.
and I apologize if,
Okay.
I didn't get them out to you. I just started looking at them,
Seriously.
yesterday. Well, yeah, kind of, so you can see the, this one, Old Meeting House Park revolving fund. Did you see it on the list?
Where's old, no, I didn't see it.
No.
Where is it? Where's Old Meeting House Park? Up on Meeting House,
I would assume
Old
Meeting
Highland
House.
up there.
up, oh, there, at the top?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's kind of, yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
there you go.
yeah, I know it's tiny, okay. It's kind of, and it fits, it's kind of like, thank you. So, yeah, so during this review, I said, oh, look, Old Meeting House Park revolving fund. But it's nothing, there's nothing in here that says Old Meeting House.
So what happened to
So,
us?
yeah,
This is the first I've discovered it, first time
Oh,
I've
so
seen
we
it.
need more
So
information on it, yeah.
yeah, we need to go back and take a look at it. If it
Maybe
needs
there's
to-
money in the account that's been sitting there for 10 or 15 years.
We have to find what the revolving account was set up for, what the purpose was, and investigate it and come back, but
Okay,
it needs to be probably brought back active again and we need to investigate it. It's kind of like just discovered, like I say, just discovered today working at it.
interesting.
So
Okay.
that's brand new,
That's
so,
right there. Fire EMS, that's again, they keep.
Yeah.
Why
yeah,
don't-
they,
why don't they
fine.
just do-
This is the hazardous materials.
Oh,
So this one is a little different, so
Mhm,
it kind of, and then,
licensing.
firearms licensing was set up, and the two new that we had created for police were the detailed cruiser fees and the police public record request. Those were set up last year or the year before. And they're 3,000, and we can, if we come in here, we can see, scroll down to police. And we see so the 210 again is there in the BBA, that's their department number. And so a little bit, the school resource officer that we've seen pop up on the recap sheet just recently.
Yes.
And then, so the firearms revolving, the public records request, and the detail.
So is that saying the resource officer is no longer gonna be in a revolving account?
No,
If it got added to the omnibus?
no, it was always in the revolving account, but it was never on the recap sheet that I recall seeing before. So it's new on the recap sheet and revenue that we're getting from North Middlesex, the school district, to pay for the resource officer.
Right, but then the resource officers got added to the police budget, right?
Right, because when he did his original budget, he just did that officer as SRO, and his salary was not included in the police line. So it's totally offsetting.
No, I know it's offsetting. I guess what I'm wondering is, you said in general, these revolving accounts are not in the omnibus, right? Which is
Right,
which is
and I
fine.
think that's why the officer wasn't there before.
Okay, and I guess what I'm wondering is, so why is he there now? If it's not typically in
We'll
the
ask, the
omnibus?
auditors may have picked
The
up.
auditors may have said you need to?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
All right,
it's kind of
that's
like, and
fine.
that might be a new one. I have not seen the audit report come in from
okay.
Roselli yet.
When will we get that?
I believe we're expecting it June 1st.
Oh,
But they were in doing the audit, and they finished up and they should do their management letter and the full report.
and we get a copy of that.
We get a copy of that, and then we have joint meeting with the audit committee, finance committee, board of selectmen, and the audit team comes in, or the head of Roselli comes in and does the presentation of it, and we have the ability to ask questions on the audit at that time.
Okay.
So anyway, there's one in here that's not on the sheet that looks like it either needs to be on the sheet, or what happens to the money in that account. We need to revive it. What was it? It had a
Right,
purpose.
right.
It had a purpose. We created the account, and so we hit it. So this is just redoing them. I like they said, everything except recycling is the same amount as last year, I believe. I'll do my quick check.
You believe it. So do we make a motion on this one, or do we just bypass it?
We can make a motion. It is somewhat financial on the accounts, but if you want to wait until we look at, well, I know we didn't look in great detail at the,
No, we didn't pay a lot of attention to that.
no, but,
We having another meeting before?
Yeah,
well, you can, it's gotta be Monday, and I gotta get it posted, quickly. Because Monday's the only day before. I know it, and especially if we're gonna do the recommendation sheets to get them
Right.
done and printed, Monday's the best day.
oh, Monday,
Yeah,
not Tuesday.
Not Tuesday, because Tuesday's the
Tuesday's the
meeting.
meeting.
It's kind of like to do the recommendation sheets, then print them and get them.
Tuesday's the meeting.
Right, oh, yeah.
So Monday we have to have the meeting. Or
for-
finish our
And then we print
recommendation.
these up, our recommendations?
So, and I apologize, the cemetery is up to 35,000 this year. It was 30,000 last year. Oh, the police was on for 80,000 last year for that.
For that
Yeah,
position?
yeah, for the resource officer.
I
So
mean,
they
I
can't spend more than that.
functionally, it doesn't matter if you have them on the omnibus, if you're
Right,
getting them.
it's,
I'm
yeah,
just curious why the change in
Mhm.
accounting.
right, and yeah,
It's so weird.
it could be the accounting, or it could be that we've also changed town administrators and.
What
want
does
it more
that
billable.
mean?
Well,
It was, Dawn, it's Veronica Kell. It was a recommendation by the accountant and DLS, DOR.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
That's it, okay,
Yeah.
so we can move on. Shall we take a motion?
I will entertain a motion, if you want to make one on, recommending Article 8.
We have a.
Oh.
I just
Yes.
want to clarify, the recycling revolving account is
Yeah.
specified under 104-1 of our bylaws. It is for specifically recycling purposes. The solid waste fund is a revolving account specified under section 37
Okay,
37-5 of our
okay,
bylaws.
thank you.
And that is specifically for the
Thank you,
trash.
John.
use.
Yeah, okay,
That's where the bag use should be going.
okay, yep. That's
Maybe that is.
And that's- right, it's gonna, thank you, and it's gonna like, and,
I haven't lost my mind yet.
not yet, it's gonna like,
No, I'm done.
and we haven't had solid waste as a revolving account.
Well, maybe we will.
Maybe, no, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Kind of, do you wanna make a motion to recommend balances for the revolving account? Or just,
Sure, I'll make a motion that we recommend these balances on a revolving accounts.
I'll second it.
okay, so we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? Okay, none being heard, roll call vote, please.
Mary Jane Churchwell, yes.
John Mazekas, yes.
David Walker, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
Carol Hoff says yes.
Don Hayes, yes. And I do have an action to look at that inactive one and find out why it's
Meeting house.
behind the list. Yep. Yep. Or at least bring it up and see if we can get it. Article 9. To see if the town will recommend to amend chapter 104 of the bylaws entitled authorized revolving funds.
Adding.
Adding and
revolving
then,
funds?
and we're gonna,
Oh, here's the list.
is the fund, town hall public records request, very similar to the police records request, but this is for when the records requests come in to town hall, and it would be fees associated with it collected, and
What are the fees? Is it the printing fee that we're, or what?
printing, it could be investigation fees if certain number of hours, I believe, are spent doing the work. It takes away from,
And how, that would be funded by the person who's doing the request?
doing
is
the
that what
request,
that is?
correct, yeah. So records request,
Well, that'd probably cut down a lot of record requests, if they had to pay for it themselves.
Maybe.
right, but
Don't you
again,
have to do some for, I
Yeah,
mean, isn't there a?
Is it 4
threshold?
hours? I forget.
yeah,
No, there's no threshold.
Because we're under 20,000. We can
People.
start from minute one. The only
Okay.
thing is that if it's readily available records,
Mhm.
you just release them. The public has the right to know. If it's something that has to be researched, redacted and all of that, then that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, if you could put your hands on it in like 5
Mhm.
minutes or a half hour,
Yeah,
but if you're spending 4 hours,
right.
yeah, okay, that makes sense.
yes. Question.
As a frequent,
Great question.
as a late FOIA person, it's
Mhm.
because it's not readily available on our website. But I test first if it's available on somebody else's website.
Mhm.
So that might be something that collectively our community can work for,
Mhm.
is that
Okay.
it's,
Yeah.
a lot of these would not happen. But I can go to other towns and just about everything that I've asked for, I can press a button.
Mhm.
That's pretty critical, I think. Yeah.
Because I hate to bother them.
Yes. Yeah, exactly, if it were available.
Oh, wait,
Is that number 9?
That was number 9.
yeah, we
Yeah.
recommending or are we doing
I'll make a
something?
motion to recommend
Oh, second.
the
Okay, so we had a
town
motion
hall
by
public records request revolving account.
Mary Jane.
I'll probably regret it, but
And a second by Joe. Yeah, okay.
Joan.
Okay.
Any other discussion or questions? None being heard?
Well, no, I guess,
Yeah.
so they haven't, nothing's been stated about the threshold for charging a fee. Right?
Do we have an actual fee schedule, like if you charging
Or-
25 bucks an hour, I mean, whatever it
The
is?
highest you can charge is $25 an hour. It usually goes to the lowest paid person that is able to do the job. So depending on what it is. Because,
Is there gonna be some kind of,
because take accounting.
Mhm.
The assistant accountant is more able to do most of it versus the department assistant.
Yep.
So it would be the $25 an hour versus the
Is it gonna
department.
be like a fee schedule, say like the first half hour is free and then after that?
I have no idea because they didn't.
Oh, okay, so we don't really know how it's,
No.
we don't know how it's gonna be implemented,
Right.
Right, I have no idea what it's for.
Oh,
or how they came up with the $5,000 figure.
they just
Well,
made that up.
Well,
Okay,
that's,
I don't
that, again, that's,
understand what the money would be used for.
Ah,
Because isn't that the spending limit? I don't know.
that's the spending limit it would come in, but as far as where the money's going, whether it's with copy fees or,
What if it bounce back
Salary
to
pay.
the,
Mm,
bounce back to the department?
it could be a transfer.
So when we do charge a fee, we will not release the record until we receive the
The
fee.
fee,
So
yeah.
if there's mailing costs or a cost for a thumb drive or something, it would basically come out of that.
I see.
okay.
Okay, and we haven't seen any bylaw up above that explains what the fees are, so.
We need to relate the bylaw to
This actually, when we look at this bylaw, this is the bylaw that talks about, the revolving funds, but as far as fees goes, there is a section in the bylaws for fees too, where it's defined. So that, I would maybe think there's supposed to be an associated article to take the fee section of the bylaws.
so we need more information.
Yeah,
Did
Yeah,
the
it's
motion,
not
I
just-
seconded, so I guess we have to vote, right?
no, I
We
think,
withdraw.
I think you can make a motion to withdraw. And then we request more information and see,
Okay, I'll make a motion to withdraw.
I'll second it.
okay?
Sorry, Dave.
I didn't make the motion.
Oh, wait,
You didn't make a
No.
motion.
Yeah, you did. You made,
oh, I did?
yeah, you made a motion.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
That's okay,
And I just made it
You want
to
a copy?
override you.
right, it's kind of weird.
Oh, I'm so tired. Okay.
Yeah. I would say Article 10 is not necessary.
Article 10's moved, right, because the override vote failed?
It actually is not. I would say at this point, if we have a balanced budget going in and we don't make any changes to it, then the answer will be yes. If somebody makes a change to a budget that's gonna take it and increase it, you might still need an override. I think this is gonna be take no action, but it's kind of like at this point, we would.
Okay, so you're saying if the adjustments that we make or that are made on during Article 11's,
Review.
so
Yeah.
Article 10 really should come after Article 11 then?
In this case, in here, it's gonna be before, but we should do it after we look at the.
Oh, we should.
Because if the town votes certain things that says, okay, well, now we're over the 2.5 limit, we
Right,
need to revisit Article 10 to say, okay, now we need to
now
vote
we
on
need
it.
a second
A
vote,
second vote on
ballot, a second ballot vote with a different amount.
So we need more
Right.
information on that.
So it seems like Article 10 needs to get moved.
It's after
After Article
11. They should be renumbered, yeah.
I don't know if that's how they do things.
Well, no,
They-
you can make a motion to
You can
move.
make- Yeah, you can make a motion to go out of order, but,
Why did they make that article like 10 and 10A? Instead of making.
Well, you can't, I mean,
Related.
you'd have to make a motion to
to break it into.
break the
pieces.
consideration, change the consideration because the articles have been printed.
I'd leave it that, you pass over Article 10 and go to 11, look at the budget and find out what the budget is
And then
when
go
you get
back.
to the bottom line. Yeah, and what it looks like when you take that budget and plug it into the recap sheet. And again, we still have articles that are coming after that can have an impact on a 2.5 override.
After 11?
Yes, yeah, after 11, then we get into some of the articles about additional funds and,
Okay, so you don't have those on the printout we had last time.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Let me-
Yeah.
I'm sorry, for those listening, I'm just.
I don't have an Article 12.
no,
Oh, no, wait a minute, I'm sorry, I misspoke.
Okay,
No, I do, I just
Yep.
wasn't looking in the right.
12, 13, 14,
15,
yeah.
Oh,
16,
this is the old one, okay.
goes down to 19.
So now on the budget,
Now, we can,
talk about budget?
we can talk about the budget,
Okay.
just what everybody wants to do.
Well, okay,
So, so the budget in the warrant article.
Oh, did we skip 11?
is-
No, 11 is the budget.
11 is the
Oh,
budget.
okay.
So it's kind of like what's in the warrant
Mhm.
is no longer valid. It's,
so it's no longer valid.
this was what was valid at the time they printed the warrant and posted it.
I see. So there's a new one,
There's gonna be a new one.
going to be.
So
What are we getting at?
what we have been provided by Nelson is the new omnibus, that does not have detail in it. So let me,
Oh, so I have a question about
so it's so what we have is the totals by the
By
section,
what?
by the sections.
So we're trusting the road, so we're just going by what he says, vote for it, we don't need to know the details, because
I don't
Right,
think we should,
well,
I don't
it's
think we
gonna-
should lump it together.
Let me,
it's not our budget.
Well, I understand that, but I don't think,
so let me take a look and see.
is that what they're really saying? They're lumping it all
Okay.
together?
Well, one of the things that they actually said last night in front of everybody that watches, is that, I believe it was Valerie, our new select person, asked if they were gonna share the
Mhm.
information with FinCom, and they said no.
Right. Yep.
So, what does that mean?
Means what
I believe what they were meaning by that is the details related to, human resources that may be impacted. They can't give us those details.
That was it? That's all they meant?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like, because in order to give it to us, we would know what their plans are, and they haven't
Okay.
discussed with the unions yet. So,
And there's another question I have, because again, on TV, when they were discussing the unions and
that
discussing
was
that,
in executive
so,
session.
right, so
Yeah.
Roy Schiffman said, she's unqualified. Nelson said, I don't really wanna do it, so that was last man standing was Veronica, who I guess has had experience doing it, but why aren't we hiring a real person who can negotiate for the municipality? I understand it will increase the budget,
Mhm.
but it seems to me that that is a good thing to spend some money on, because this is going on and on.
Where's Adam Costa and all of that, Dawn?
I'm not, I think he only reviews the final contracts. I don't think he's part of, I don't think he's labor.
We should,
I think
we should find
they
Jack
are-
Collins, who is
Wait, what?
a master negotiator.
We have Labor Council.
Right,
How about
yeah.
that? Do we know who it is? Oh, we don't?
No.
Oh, it's a
So how
secret
do you know we
person.
have a,
Oh, yeah.
then how do you know we have a,
because that is not in,
We
in,
do?
Yeah.
He worked for the town, he worked for himself.
I would
Is he
say that,
part of our working
Or
force?
he might be part of, me, Calvin, and Costa, I'm not sure.
Oh,
which is the,
oh, so it'd be the same
it's the
law firm,
same law firm, different
just
person.
different attorney.
Yeah, so-
Okay.
different.
So that would be under the cover, it would be, so he'd be covered under the budget for
Under the
whatever it
contract.
costs to
for
have.
the attorney line?
Okay, but we don't know who it is? Does Veronica, do you know who it is?
Yes, it's Jane Friedman. And we do consult with her on all negotiations. And I believe she's the attorney that will be present for annual town meeting.
Correct.
Or was that the
Yeah.
woman that was on the stage
No.
the
In,
last time?
in March, I believe.
No, that was Lisa Mead.
Ah.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe it's time, Mr. Chairman, to look at that, because how many meetings has Adam missed as our, he's our main guy, right?
He is, yeah,
And so, special town meeting, he missed.
That-
and
that was-
police
yeah.
meeting, missed
That-
another special meeting.
that was discussed last night at the select board meeting.
Yeah.
Kind of, and I believe that the March one was a pre-engagement, a prior engagement for Adam, and this one is because town meeting, there's a lot of town meetings and they don't have enough people to cover all the towns.
So
And,
maybe
and
we
so
have to
that,
look
that's the piece.
elsewhere, yeah,
And
yeah.
that could be.
Hmm.
I mean, KP Law, I mean, there's other municipal attorneys. I mean, they may be more expensive, but maybe we can get a
Or
little
maybe
rate for it.
let's, maybe, Adam's a great guy, he's been with us a long time, but maybe there's
Yeah.
an opportunity to get someone that really wants to kind of.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the children, somebody else, very.
We're not a priority.
That's correct.
So, what I have, this is the file that came from,
Did I get an answer about lumping everything together? Are we lumping everything together, or are we doing,
Not clear.
individual departments? How are we doing that?
What did they do?
What are, yes,
right,
what are they doing?
as far as how they're gonna present it at town meeting.
Yeah.
They,
We should know.
they had said that they're gonna do by segments, but that has been presented every year. Like, general government is lines
I don't-
1 to 261. Does anybody have any questions? Well, that means we need to.
That means they have to know what's on the line,
You have to know what's on the
a little bit
line.
of information,
Right,
yeah. And I
a little
suppose the
upfront.
answer would be that they should be watching these meetings, but not everybody has the time.
Not everybody has the
Yeah,
time,
right.
and you're gonna get to the meeting. I think there are a few people that have paid a lot of attention.
Apparently 1,100.
What are these Dalmatians or something?
Yeah, no, that's 101.
101.
Inflation,
There's a
remember?
lot more attention, I think, paid to the budget this year, and I'm trying to understand what's on every line. Last year, and other years, it's always been, there was a balanced budget presenting it at town, and I think it was very easily and maybe quickly done, that, you run this section of it. If nobody has any questions about the section, you sort of quickly move on. But
So therefore, when it comes up to general government, we've got to,
break it down section by section if you want,
For department.
By
it
department, yeah.
should be that way,
By department.
just by department, correct?
I mean, we can,
Why
Yeah.
don't we just do it that way? Why does it have to be all lumped together?
I think it was something that was started a few years ago,
Yeah,
but under a couple of TAs ago, but,
Doesn't appear to
Yeah,
be
we-
working.
no, it's kind of like, I think that is part of what appears to be not transparent. Yeah, it's quick to go through. There were some times where we had two spreadsheets, and people were flipping through two spreadsheets trying to figure it out, and then they tried to streamline it, and I think that's what evolved into the process that we've had the last few town meetings. So,
We used to get a book,
Book,
yeah.
the budget book. Yeah, I guess that's gone too.
Right, again, I think in a lot of cases where the budget was being prepared and changed all the way up through.
But I think that's a nice thing, with budget, because it's
Yeah.
right there, it's all bound, you're not looking all over the
Right.
table.
Yeah.
You can go to the department, you can focus on what you're interested in, and it's not
Mhm.
flying all over the place.
Yeah.
I think it's a very excellent tool for the taxpayer.
Mhm.
Because we really have to remember that, because
Right.
they're out there speaking.
Yeah.
So, to that,
Okay.
can I speak?
Before that, I think there was.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kim. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I hope that there's a really good solution, because I think that it's unfortunate if we just are seeing lumped together groupings. When I look at the 9 categories that they came out of with executive session and the grouping of those.
Yeah.
I would say, just like at one time when the board of selectmen gave block and lot numbers at a town meeting, most people don't know their own.
Mhm.
Those people, when they look at those categories,
Mhm.
are not going to be saying, oh, I know what goes in what.
Yeah.
And I think it's very confusing if you're like council on aging and cemetery and the same, and
Mhm.
people don't know what that means.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think that we're found that people are very interested in the budget process and seeing exactly what they're voting for.
Yeah.
So I hope that you'll have a grand.
Try to get some information, probably do that.
We have some information here, because after that meeting last night with the Board of
Mhm.
Selectmen.
Yeah.
That, as far as I'm concerned, I've spent how many months working on this, watching it over and over and
Yep.
over. And for them to say that they're not gonna give us the privilege of knowing what they know, so that we can make recommendations to the town,
Yeah, obviously we can't without,
that
The
sounds
knowledge.
to me like we are discounted off the table. So I got together with Joan and some other local townspeople who have experience with finances.
Yeah.
And taxpayers who are concerned. And we put together that budget, which we are calling the alternative budget, like alternative facts.
turning on editing it, and it is
Now,
for us.
What we talked about was this very issue of departments.
Yep.
And one of the reasons we chose the departments as the category or the division
Mhm.
is because we really believe that the department heads should have autonomy in their own department, and that they know best where the funds should go. So if the
Yep.
department is allocated X, then the head can say, okay, I wanna do this, get rid of that, keep
Yep.
this, buy this, add to. So we would like you to look at it for a brief minute and just give us your feedback, because we're really, I think we're really over a barrel. We have like not even 7 days.
Right, yeah.
And to be so discounted so publicly is disheartening for the amount of time that we've put in. And then when we see the vote, the people want to know, and the people are not getting that information. The people have spoken loud and clear, and the transparency, we have to go into executive session and
Mhm.
talk about salaries and, oh, whoops, now here's the budget
Right.
behind closed doors. Not, that's not transparent.
It is not, I think,
I'm not
Ms.
putting you on the
Bertram,
hot
no,
seat.
I'm just trying to, go back and forth, because, I wanna take.
Solid waste,
Yeah, just because,
What is this?
it's the alternative funds
yeah, so
budget
that's the alternative that
from us.
is
It's a
being
collective, it's a
presented.
collaboration of FinCon, two FinCon people, so there was
Yeah,
no
There's
violation.
no, yeah,
I know,
there
And-
was no,
Certain citizens and certain financial
okay.
people.
and I was just taking a look, and I said solid waste.
Now, it's not gonna
because
be perfect,
they-
just want you to know.
Right, but,
it's flawed, it's human.
right, well, it's a start and it's a recommendation, because the other piece that I heard that I hadn't validated yet is the curbside pickup and transfer is kind of like, and that went from 780 to 10 in this.
So what?
It basically,
Went away.
curbside pickup is gone.
Went away, it's just like. Now, in this budget,
It's never
we
happened,
did keep
yeah.
the waste. And
So-
we also tried very, very, very hard to not fool around with any kind of
Mm-hmm.
salaries, so that people keep their job. But then again, that would be the department head's
Right.
decision within the budget amount. Might be a different approach.
It's a different approach. It's kind of,
It's alternative, it's alternative.
it's another thought process of looking at it. It's kind of like,
Oh, you can see it up there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the
So-
option, peach and yellow.
so.
There are some other changes on this. But there are some.
Okay, so. Just. Quickly, let's go. Look at the peach.
The peach is the key.
Okay, so explain the peach.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like,
They're the changes, they're the
Okay.
changes, they're the
These-
alternative
these-
fund changes.
yeah, so,
Okay.
Can you see that?
do we need to vote it?
You can blow it up.
Control Z real quick, maybe.
control what?
Z and then the little columns are filled out.
Run columns.
Oh,
Which columns are you looking for?
I
two,
INJ, yeah.
Oh, there.
The whole columns kind of thing.
the two, 2024.
Yeah, because I filled it on pink.
Oh, I'm sorry, no. I
He's
see what you're
collapsed
saying.
it all, so only the pink ones are showing up.
It would, no, that's not,
I'm sorry,
okay.
it's.
No, it's not your fault.
So,
We want
yeah,
to see 2024, 2025, and 2026,
Okay.
because that was, we looked at the past to see what the patterns were.
Right.
So that we could make some kind of an intelligent decision about what
so,
is gonna be moving forward.
so in FY 25, do we want to see column F, because that's what happened after?
Yes, but what we want to do is we want to go to, let's just say example. Where is, I can't even read this. Number 4. Just
Yeah.
example. Board of Selectmen wages,
Yeah.
other auto allowance. We noticed it was 48, then it popped down to 2, and we said, okay, let's go to 1.
Okay,
What's
here's the thing. This is Veronica Cal. That is contractual. Jim Kreidler got $6,000. So just know that. That is
Okay.
contractual and it is worked out with the town administrators. So you can do that, but it won't happen.
No, that's,
Okay, well, we're just sharing
yeah.
the
This is-
information
this is-
we have, because you don't get to share with us, but we wanted to share with you. We're taking the high road here. Okay, so,
Right, so. um, So if,
all right,
just trying to shrink things to. Fit in there. Okay, so we get 24, 25.
yeah.
Are you
Now,
looking?
now
for just
remember,
your
we are not,
26?
this is not in
No, no,
stone.
this is,
We're
yeah,
doing,
this is.
and then the
is a
department
discussion.
head would say, okay,
Right,
yeah,
so
like Veronica just
you're-
said, can't
yeah.
do it contractual, so she
But-
gets,
But with that, what I think I'm hearing from this is you want to take and say, cut 3,338 from Board of Selectmen, something like that.
yes, exactly,
So-
that's exactly what we're saying.
Yeah.
Mhm. And then we'll go down to the next one, that's a good way of doing it. Are we still on the Board of Selectmen? There's
Yeah, so that,
25,
that's a,
35.
yeah.
So we have a little, where's that sheet?
So,
Okay, so. Omnibus. We all talked about that.
mhm,
The general cuts total $1,995,371. When you get going through all this.
okay,
This,
yeah,
we don't have to make decisions tonight, but I
Yeah.
do want you to look at this. Then we found funding from alternative sources, which include, I believe that's the trash. Then we have the ARPA. We found 100,000 there, and then we heard about the ARPA housing that found the 100,000 fund. Okay. So we found that we could reduce it by $814,196. And then we had some conversations about the HERO Act, which has not been passed yet, I don't think. And we're not quite sure how many people participate in that.
mhm, Right.
So we were thinking about maybe we could take that from stabilization this year if it's adopted. I know you don't like to take stuff from stabilization, but if we could just balance our budget and then really July 1, really sit down as a committee, work collaboratively, not only with the Board of Selectmen, but with each department head, and find out exactly what their needs are and then work through it.
so if the HERO Act passes this year, you want it, you're saying funded from stabilization. What if we delayed implementation and recommended that it be implemented in FY 27 when it had a fuller? No, not that we're trying to delay,
Let me see, this is the kind of conversation we have to have.
right, it's kind of,
I mean, I feel bad for vets that
right,
are not gonna
it's kind of,
benefit
Excuse me, Dawn, this is
Yes.
Cindy King. This is Cindy King. I'm really the strong advocate, as you probably know, about the HERO Act stuff.
I know.
This is not a budgetary item. You can't take it from stabilization. This is a tax exemption. It provides, this never ever hits the budget, even as an article, it's not hitting the budget. It's a tax exemption, so it's, I want to call it almost invisible, because you'll never see this again, you'll never vote on it again unless it changes again, which it's been 20 years since it changed. And this is, this comes, pre-tax levy, or as the tax levy is determined. We already have tax exemptions. All these veterans are already getting, there's 119 disabled veterans getting a form of tax exemption right now. This is just increasing it to keep up with inflation, really. And you'll never, this is not something that you're going to transfer money from another fund. It's a tax exemption that comes in before anybody ever talks budgets. And this is just the article that needs to authorize, there's two articles, Article 18 and 19. And they're as the levy is determined, when it even comes from the state to us, what we're authorized to raise and appropriate or whatever. So it's not something that you're going to move money around and say, we're going to get the money for the HERO Act from some other source. No, you're always going to get it as a tax exemption. And it's not a budget item. It's not impacted by override votes, none of that. It's a tax exemption authorization. We already do it. We've been doing it for decades, but this is just increasing the authorization.
It's on the recap sheet under current year, overlay.
The Board of Selectmen put that, it's very confusing. I wish they hadn't have done that, but they've listed it as a recap to say that, all right, this is going to impact the amount of money it does impact the amount of money coming to us as far as the authorization and the tax levy for 2026 and and years in the future. But it's not a budget item. It shouldn't be listed as a budget item. It absolutely has nothing to do with a budget or override or anything.
It has to be accounted for in the tax levy so that we cover it.
The tax levy, but you'll never see it on a budget. It's part of the tax levy. When it comes in, you'll get a tax levy. You won't even see it unless you're studying the documents that are coming out of DOR, which your FinCom doesn't get that. I mean, it's available to you, but you don't use it for anything.
Yeah, we do, but okay. We look at it and make sure.
You get the final number. You get the final tax levy and what your starting point is to determine what's available to you. But the exemption comes, it's already out of the tax levy before you start moving money around. You can't, it's not, I can take it from somewhere else.
It has to be accounted for. You have to have an account that.
Oh, no, there's no account. Dawn, there's no account. It comes from it's taken out of the tax levy. You're not going to see it on you don't see it anywhere on the budget. Nowhere.
Yeah, we don't see it on the budget.
Right.
Sorry,
it's gonna, yes.
First off, I support the HERO Act, so know that, but I don't support funding it until it passes. So here's the thing, that Cindy is correct that it shouldn't. However, it is a line in our omnibus budget, because they have built it into the omnibus budget.
No, they have not. It is not in the budget.
It's in the recap sheet. It's not in the.
Oh,
It's a recap item.
Yes, but they've included that in.
Right.
And it was even included in the calculation of the override.
Everything in the recap has to be accounted for to get the balanced budget in the bottom.
Yes.
Kind of like, so.
Exactly.
So everything in your omnibus feeds into the top.
Correct.
Everything else is going to be articles and approved, has to be accounted for in the recap. So when you get to the bottom line in the recap sheet, you have a balanced budget.
And unlike the prior HERO Act, there's a segment of this one that is not reimbursed now.
Right.
So
This whole HERO Act is not reimbursed.
The whole increase.
The whole increase is not funded.
It's reimbursed.
Yeah.
And
The
so
other one
if
has a
it's
partial
if it's
reimbursement.
$10, it's the exemption. Before, it was sort of silent a lot because it was reimbursed.
Yeah.
Now the $10 for 10 won't be reimbursed, so it does impact the funds available. So somehow we have to figure out
Right, we have
the
to figure out.
first year, because there hasn't been information yet on
Mhm.
how many people or how much money that's gonna look like.
Yeah.
Of funds needed.
Right,
It has been fully disclosed by the assessors. The numbers are out there. And I have it. I've already done one video on it. I'm doing another one shortly. But it's, in fact, in the supplemental budget that the House just passed, they fully, in fact, if you look at our cherry sheet and you look at the veterans and senior exemptions line in the most recent cherry sheet for reimbursements, the supplemental budget provided additional monies to fully reimburse our last go round on the exemption. So the state is starting to even, and I do it year to year. In the law, it's only certain reimbursements, but they fully reimbursed us for the previous go round, and which is tells me, and it's because of the HERO Act that the legislature did that for all the towns, that they fully reimbursed exemptions for the previous year. Just to let you know that. So don't think that we're getting the short end of the stick on this.
Yeah. Yeah, and those were on, I've seen that on the recap sheet, so thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so that I did,
All right.
okay, that's, okay, so now we move down to trash. See where we are, everybody, on the first page. Right. So trash, the contract excluding the municipal part, I think it's 6,000 or 8,000, I can't remember, or 9. The municipal, do we have to pay no matter what? Okay, so 770, 040. The bag receipts, let's just say, we just put our own number on it, would be 360,000 based on 28 to 32 each month. And the grant, which it's a little confusing because we've heard that it can't be reimbursed and then,
I don't think it has to be reimbursed.
and then we've heard that it can be reimbursed based on certain factors. So we put it in as we're getting reimbursed. So we have $348,000. The user fees are gonna be added at 115 or is it 125?
115.
That's 115 here, but.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's 100%. Because I've heard 120, 120, 125.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Nobody's made a
Hang
decision.
on,
So we,
Congress was here earlier.
so we took, if we use 115,
Yeah.
just as an average, so that gives us 20,000 in user fees.
Okay. So, um,
And I know you're not gonna like this, but if we could take out the remainder from stabilization just this year, if we could. I'm using stabilization in the literal word of stabilizing our budget
Mhm.
so that we can move forward. And I mean, really work at it, because I don't think that it's been really worked. I've talked to some of the department heads and they've said that they really wanna talk to FinCom.
mhm.
Because they do have concerns and they wanna work it out. They want people to give them input, they wanna give input to us, and they wanna collaborate, rather than be told what to do. Or discount it altogether, you can't talk at this meeting. So we would really like to, as they say, day one, get that started.
We'll see, it's kind of like last 2 times we say we're gonna add to stabilization, the money's come out, it's not come back.
Oh, it hasn't come back.
None of it has come back, so it's kind of like, and that's about 350,000.
So I would just, okay, that's
it's
good to
kinda
know,
like-
Dawn, so if I could
it's
take a
kinda like,
look at
so-
what that was,
Right.
just to see who
It-
didn't pay us back.
Well, the first one was 220,000 for back pay when we signed the contract and negotiated for the employees. The second one was 136 last year for the trash.
Well,
And one
okay,
more
let's take the
balance in
trash
budget.
out, because that was like a forced issue. I mean, let's
But-
be honest, I mean,
but the
we
same
woke up
thing
one
is
day
kinda-
and it was like, purple bags, period, the end. So that.
Right, but that was to balance the budget for last year because there was about $1 million that needed to be.
But that's because they didn't have a
Accounted for.
plan. They didn't have a plan. I'm saying that we get a plan. We don't play that game again.
But the figures have changed also, the number of people that are participating.
Well, that's a good
It's
point.
kinda-
That's a really good point. I don't think we're getting real accurate figures on, you pointed that out
Usage,
before,
yeah.
Carol. I think you pointed that out, Dave. On the
purple
purple bag
bags.
purchases, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, it's kind of like,
Well,
sure.
the number has changed. I mean, it just,
Well,
it's
it-
not as big as it was.
Well,
It
no,
makes a big difference.
it does. And you have to look at the latest receipts. Are the receipts continuing to decline or is this
Well,
up and
nobody has-
down?
Yeah, I mean, we just believe in what we're told. right?
Well, from
Yeah,
what we have heard, that it is declined, I mean, supposedly there's 300, supposedly there are, I'm sorry, 3,000 people who are taking, 3,000 households. But, the decline
So we only lost
is
100.
significant.
It says, it was 3,100 when we started, so you're saying we only lost 100 homes?
No,
for
I
private
think we
pickup?
lost,
Oh, I think
More
it's
than
more
that.
than
I think
that.
I think
more.
it's almost like,
200 plus.
maybe 30%.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that makes a big
30 to
difference,
40.
You
30,
just-
40%.
Because they go around, at least in Timberley Park on Wednesday,
Yeah,
they
they-
collect the private, so on Wednesday when you were out, you
Okay,
could
so,
see
yeah.
who's privately,
How many people?
How many people are, yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
I
so,
mean, I don't think the trash was ever thought out, really thought out.
Right.
I think it was just a Band-Aid because, wow, we need the money and here you can grab it.
Yeah.
And I think that it carried over to this administration. We heard the same conversation from Irene that we had
Right.
last year,
Yeah.
same thing. So I don't think they've pounded it out, so to speak, which I think we should do. And maybe the stabilization hasn't come back because nobody's revisited who got the money and what they do, what they have planned
well,
to get back to us.
there were plans. They come.
Yeah, but did anyone stay on them to make sure they worked?
Well, when 200,000 of free cash was moved, that was 136 that was supposed to go to stabilization. That was where some of that money was.
Oh, the free cash that got moved out.
Yeah, it's kind of like, so that's a piece. It's kind of like you can't account for what's gonna happen. So if we take it down, you're gonna be down under $1 million in your stabilization account.
I understand that.
And
And then-
that impacts the borrow rate. And we're borrowing more because we don't have the other money to, and I'm not saying,
No, I
No, but
agree
it's
100%. And I
but-
also go to your previous weeks when you said we should be working on economic development. We should be working on the positive, not the negative. And I don't think that's happening.
no, it's hard to figure out, we're trying to dig out of a hole. And that's what you're looking at in.
Well, at
kinda
one
like
point,
the-
if we don't dig this hole out, we're gonna end up with the state coming in and saying, okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we have to make a decision as a town. And I really believe that this is the board that it's gonna have to come from. I really do. I mean, that vote the other day said that people,
Yeah.
to me, it said, town is listening, the town is angry, the town wants answers, they want plans, they want economic growth.
Right, and we
And
have
to ignore that is
right,
the height of
and-
negligence in terms of leadership.
And I know we have to act quickly because we're now gonna start having mixed messages about no trash, it's gonna end July 1st, or are we gonna continue?
That was the game they played last time.
But,
Same
but-
game, same game.
but that's what this.
So
budget
let's
line-
find out, how can we save our trash? If that's what the people want.
Well, I think the people do want to save the trash, and I think they want to get rid of the purple bags, so we've got to figure out a formula that takes, we might have to charge a fee, but
Mhm.
there'd be a formula, the planning we could get to, and get rid of the purple bags and just have our,
Just let me tell you one thing about the trash. It was, if the former Board of Selectmen presented it to us on a Band-Aid situation and walked out. So how did they have a plan to get that money back? How could they? They left.
It-
And,
Oh, over there.
yeah, two
Yes,
things.
two.
Go ahead, John.
Don was first.
I just want to point out with capital stabilization.
Yeah.
We have a little over 1.2 million in
No,
there right
no.
now.
Not capital stabilization.
I'm sorry, in stabilization.
Yeah, okay. yes.
We have about a little over 1.2 million, and if we actually did this and Hero Act
Mhm.
needed to come from somewhere, we would still have 9.2% of our operating budget in capital stabilization. I know the Mass Municipal Association best practices are a minimum of 6%. I know we want 8 to 10.
Mhm.
It's not
Yeah.
something to draw down, but as a taxpayer, I do agree with what Mary Jane is saying. And that I would rather remove the trash from the levy and not have it be part of the tax base anymore than I would keep that 100. And I mean, honestly, you don't even have to offer that. You can charge a higher user fee, but I'd like to see it out of the tax base.
And I would too, but as we're doing all of this, I would want to see and put the numbers in for what FY 27 is going to look like, which is relatively easy to extrapolate out and see where it is. Is doing this work of taking stabilization money and the other money going to be sustainable when we get to next year? It's kind of like, because a lot of,
I think it should be
but a lot of what we did in the budget to get where we are is cut pieces that are going to have to come back. We've cut expenses this year that need to come back in FY 27. So the budget's going to grow by some of the lines that we've cut.
So I would suggest then considering a higher user fee if stabilization funding is a problem to help reduce the user fee. I think the idea of keeping the payment lower for residents is a nice one, but not necessarily a required one.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that stabilization isn't the way to go, but if we're using that to bridge a gap for this year, you don't want to see it year after year. We should be building it and adding it to it, not draining it.
Agreed. I think
Taking
trash out of there will help with that. Yes.
And how do people opt out of trash if they don't want the fee?
The Board of Health already has a plan for this, actually. We checked in and they have, it's kind of almost, we're thinking stepping stone kind of a thing, the revolving account provided for as a hybrid program. And the Board of Health would take that on. There'd be no additional administrative cost for that. And eventually it would be nice to see it in an enterprise fund. So it would be for VISA without the bags. It would be just a fee with no bags moving forward. And 27 is sort of what they're looking ahead towards. But what I'm really happy about is they're looking ahead. They're making a plan. They're gathering real numbers. And this is like a step toward the final plan. We can't rush it. We've learned that the hard way. So and that's the forward thinking they're working on.
And it appears through their thoughtfulness that the fee would be less expensive for those that have moved away to the private pay to come back to the municipal side, that they would still get the service without the bags in 2027 at a lower rate than they're paying now private pay. So that would make it better for everybody. So I commend them for their work.
So anyway, they can have those bags on Amazon.
I know.
I forgot to buy them this week. Now my trash is like next week. Now I gotta buy 2.
What?
I obviously don't buy
2 rolls,
bags at the house.
We use the bag.
No, I know, but who buys them?
You know who buys them. I go into a grocery store, I don't know where I am.
Exactly.
I'm curious, how are they
You want me
saying
to
they're
make
gonna
dinner,
move
you
to
better
a
like hot
full
dogs.
fee and have it be less than private pickup? Because you still have to come up with $780,000 a year. If it's based on a fee, I mean, that's gonna be a couple $1,000s for every household.
It's a different program altogether. The Board of Health is already speaking to Shaw's about it, and it's something that would be planned for in the future. Dunstable does it this way, Tingsboro does it this way. It's not nearly that expensive. It's a whole different fee structure. I think the Board of Health offering input would be helpful because they've been speaking directly to Shaw's.
I saw a couple online.
If anybody's online, that would, but if I
How
were.
would you limit the
Okay.
amount?
Christian?
Here we go. What else?
From the Board of Health, Chairman of the Board of Health.
Yep. Thank you.
Regarding the trash contract, we're gonna have a meeting on Friday at 5:30. The only thing that I'm able to say is that we're considering some sort of a fee, but we want to have the input of the public. Yes, it was brought up about the example of how Dunstable is working their trash contract, but what has been suggested to us that it doesn't involve town money. specifically. But right now we're still working on the logistics and getting some more information about that. But I think that what we are planning is the board to retake the trash situation and come up with some sort of a fee. It's my understanding from what I've been having conversations with some people as well.
Okay, so it's a straight fee and that would cover the total cost of the program and the contract with Shaw's.
Yeah, but
And
we have to stabilize it for this year because we have,
it would be,
it's not,
yeah.
it's not there yet.
yeah, and the fees would be paid to Board of Health
Yes,
Yes.
and not the
I
town.
would think so.
The solid waste, or
But
the solid waste involved?
when we go to the recycling center, I believe that we make checks to town of Townsend,
Yes.
so.
But it
And
should
then
be
when you
billed by
deposit it,
Board of
it
Health.
would be into a specific account.
I mean, they have a revolving account.
They have a revolving account for the recycle center.
And the solid waste.
This would
no?
happen.
Well, no, it's not set up on the list.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah,
it's my understanding that it's some sort of account. I'm not an accountant, and I apologize that I don't remember the right term, but it's a sort of account that the money will come in to pay for the trash, and that money will come out to Shaw's to pay to cover for the trash contract.
yeah, it's similar to the revolving account that you have for the recycle center.
Right,
Yeah.
but it would be
Sure.
strictly for that.
Right.
I think
Yeah,
it's on there. Why do I think it's there? Why do I remember solid waste?
That's
Fine.
that's been, Don has brought that up.
Oh,
And we,
So it was established in the bylaws.
It was
but it's
established,
never
but
used
never-
Because we never had fees.
right,
Right, but
Oh,
we
I
brought
see.
that
So
up
it
at one meeting.
exists, it's
Yeah.
just not on the list.
We talked about that before. Getting it opened up again and getting it started,
Right,
so,
not again, opening up what was already planned
Right.
for.
right.
And if it came cheaper down to a fee, people would come back to it.
I would come back. On private.
I never laughed.
After this morning, yesterday morning, I'm ready to leave.
Okay,
All right, so, take a
Okay,
look at
so,
that and
yep,
give
we
me
can-
give us, when we meet next, when are we meeting? Monday?
have to be Monday.
we will I'll check with DCAM, see if we can get a Zoom meeting and see what time we can
I'm
meet.
not sure I can make Monday.
Make
Can you
Tuesday.
make a Zoom?
No, I can't make a Zoom. I'm gonna be away. Not away, but I mean, I got something else Monday night.
Okay.
Can you put, yeah, you can be able to Tuesday.
I will probably make it Tuesday.
Thank you.
Probably?
I'll make it Tuesday.
Okay.
There we go. Okay.
So are we gonna meet on Monday or Tuesday?
Meeting Monday, and
We're
our,
meeting Monday.
and then we have our other meeting on Tuesday.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we can't meet as a FinCom Tuesday because we have the town meeting Tuesday.
That's exactly,
We can meet early in the day.
Joe,
pardon,
don't you have a file on Monday?
on Monday. Well, could we meet early, see, as you're not coming on Monday, could we
We
meet
could-
earlier?
That'd be okay by
We
me.
could,
yeah.
yeah.
I have a 12 o'clock noon.
No, I was thinking like,
Noon.
3:30-ish.
Yeah, that would be better because Monday I want to hit down the hall. I think it's down the hall, the auction at town hall,
oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
okay.
for the,
Oh, what time is that?
noon.
Okay, so how about 3:30?
are you gonna buy something?
No, I,
Oh.
well,
Just wants to
I
know.
record the numbers.
Oh, you don't have to.
I sit and write numbers.
Oh, I didn't understand that.
He's
Okay,
the
I'm
number,
sorry. All
he's
right.
the number guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, so that's at noon. How long does that take?
it depends
2
on
hours or something?
tops, yeah. I mean, there's 9 properties and some may not even
2
get
o'clock?
their ones.
2 o'clock? I mean, or
Two,
2, he's
yeah.
gotta go to the bathroom, and have a bite to eat.
Yeah.
you know.
we're gonna let him do that?
No, we kind of-
So, yeah.
You gotta pack a lunch.
okay, sorry, I'm just back looking at some of the lines.
Okay.
And accounting and professional technical services, sounds like that's the
Where are you? Tell us the number you're at.
Accountant,
I
right.
almost have these all memorized.
line 43, it's like budget line 43,
Yeah, oh, no, I know this,
line
yeah.
46.
Accounting and professional, oh,
Sorry, Kristen, yeah,
143?
just 43.
Oh,
Straight
43.
Mr. Chairman, just to remind the public that the Board of Health is having a meeting on Friday at 5:30 regarding the travel contract. If everybody that are in Zoom or in the meeting can attend, that'll be great.
Okay,
Okay, thank
Friday
you.
at 5:30.
Yeah.
This
It's
as
like-
an emergency meeting, so
Yeah, I appreciate it.
We
It's
should
just kind of like,
definitely go.
it's
Yeah,
everybody.
so can you go to that, Carol?
Friday, no, I won't, be at a softball game.
Softball. Okay, Dave, Friday, 5:30.
I won't be around.
you won't be around anymore. So,
Sam.
I'm interested, but, we'll see. I
That'd be a
keep,
no, okay.
what's that, Monday you
So that
said?
leaves Jerry and me.
Friday.
Okay,
Okay.
good. What? Oh, 5:30 on
that's
Friday.
Troopers.
let me write it down.
Write it on your
If this is
schedule.
Zoom,
And then 2:30 on Monday, because we have another meeting
Where
at
in the-
5:30. You say 2 or 2:30, Don?
we can do 2 o'clock, get it done early.
Well, what about the auction? What if it's not up? What if it's
I'll get somebody to record that.
Okay.
What time's the auction, is that 12?
12.
Oh, well, might be
Oh,
over.
It might be over, it's kind of like, again, the signed properties, I'm
Yeah.
not sure what the.
Well, those guys
interest is.
talk real fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so-
It gets
So
open.
2 o'clock on Monday?
2 on Monday,
Okay.
here at the building. I
Yeah.
don't know what.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Yeah, I'll check
Confirm.
room availability,
That's the health department?
that's health.
On Friday.
Health is Friday at 5:30.
Right. And if there's gonna be 3 there, then I won't show up, because we don't wanna have a quorum, and we don't, it's
Right, we
too
don't
close
want
to
to, yeah.
pass, yeah, too close to post.
What if we were on Zoom and some people were here? Does that create a quorum? Oh, it does. Oh,
It does, yeah,
okay.
it kind of like, so we'll make sure we don't have a quorum
On what, Friday?
on Friday, yeah.
Oh, good.
Kind
I'll
of,
go
because
somewhere.
it's,
I'll go to dinner.
You three
we're
go.
already too close to post.
Oh, okay.
I'm really too close to it, spring.
Yeah, you've got some
I
like to
wanted
deal
to, but
with.
I don't wanna go with.
I don't know where spring came from, because I was winter just 2 days ago.
Yeah, so line 46, I'm sorry, line 43, the accounting and professional tech services,
Yes,
the 25,000,
yes,
reducing to 5,000.
yes.
I don't think that is feasible,
Okay, well, that's why we're.
right, that's why we
presenting it,
did
You know
it,
what I mean? I mean,
because this,
it's better than
this,
not having anything.
right,
What
no,
line
no,
number are we
it's
on?
kind of like,
43.
4-3. I'm way up, way deep in
It's gonna buy
it.
5,000.
There's 20,000 in there, Dawn.
there's 20,000 reduced to 5.
No,
No, I think it's
No,
reduced by
25,000.
5,000.
And the answer is still, we can't cut that. That's a contract with the outside service that is actually being our town accountant. Because we don't have a certified town accountant.
Contract,
We-
okay.
And so this,
No, we knew
this-
this, and,
yeah.
but not, we didn't realize it was that,
yeah, right, it's kind of like, and again, it's just making sure if we're looking for it, that we don't cut the wrong thing.
correct,
It's kind of
exactly,
like,
yeah.
and that again is, okay. If we go back to my original statement, when we started looking at department, this is, we want to cut 5,000 from accounting. Go to the department head, let's see.
Cut it and say, okay, have it,
Right,
have it, at
but
it. It's your
but
problem now,
it's kind of like, but
it's your
this,
responsibility.
in this particular line, that's not,
Okay, but see,
that one.
I'm new too.
Right,
So
no,
I
no,
don't
I
know
know, and-
all the ins and outs
Right.
yet, trust me, it will
Yeah.
happen eventually.
I-
And this was,
I don't, you heard me earlier.
I know, I
It's kinda
love
like,
you because you've been very patient with us.
I don't even have all the answers right now, but
Nobody
we're,
else.
we're,
I think the thing is, in next year, maybe if we could find out what's contract and what's
Mhm.
not, it would be, it would
it,
be
it would go back
informational
to
for us.
the treasurer, when the treasurer gave to us the original worksheet.
Right,
That had absolutely everything that was coming out of that line. That's what we really want by every
okay, well, then
department.
we should, you know,
We, this
We'd like to stick to
this is the standard, this is what we wanna see
right,
in every
Well,
department.
maybe we should work on a form.
Yeah, yeah, gonna-
so it's consistent across
Correct, you're a federal
Yeah.
employee, you should know
Well,
that part.
yes,
They
it
have
should
a
be
form for
Yeah,
it
so those-
somewhere, right?
those
We
are-
can copy it.
Right.
We
And-
do
and
have a
again-
form
and
for
again,
everything.
There's a couple of different pieces.
Mhm.
One is how they're generated,
Mhm.
because you can run, like that BBA report we get,
Mhm, mhm.
generate that so you get the account number and the description, and that's what's provided, and the current rate. Those things can be provided into a base sheet and then move from there, so there's no guessing and no renaming of anything because somebody thought.
Oh, yeah, they were
the name
gonna
of
take their own path,
Right.
right? That would be
There,
me.
there's gonna, yeah, these will be consistent with what's in the BBA and what's in the accounting system
Mhm.
to be brought forward in the next year. If a new line is needed, then you get it and you.
But we have to develop relationships with these departments.
Yeah.
I think that's critical. The communication is like zero. You know, we came in here and we had the sheets and the BBA
Yeah.
and all this, and then the percentages, and
Right,
we had no idea who, what, where, when, why.
no,
And-
and that
And there's a
was.
learning curve that we have,
It
anyone who
was-
wants to learn and ask questions needs to ask
Mhm.
questions and be
And-
involved.
And again, something we can do is, as the finance committee is very similar to what the board of selectmen do and have a liaison for each department. And so one of us becomes, and working one-on-one with the department, so that a department head isn't working with 7 finance committee members.
Oh, I agree 100%.
I agree with you.
So-
But we had
Maybe we-
started that, hadn't we? Didn't you say Carol was in charge of trash and Dave was in charge of fire? And remember that?
Oh, yeah, I
We
do
were talking
remember,
about
we
it.
talked about it.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
you're back now.
When we were
It's-
doing a
yeah.
subcommittee, when we were doing a subcommittee.
Right, we
um,
talked about that.
We
But
did talk
Dave had a
about
back
that.
I don't think it got
Dave
any
wanted to
further.
be the fire person.
But we can either.
I did. I don't remember
You
that.
talked-
What happens when you're
There were
not
a lot
here?
of.
Oh, that
A lot of conversations, a lot
Oh.
of back.
Yeah,
when
we gotta
were-
revisit
Okay.
when
that.
we started.
all right.
But yeah, so that'll be something we can take forward.
Okay,
But yes, just looking at it, that was stuck out, you're right.
I mean, this is a different approach, but
Mhm.
I think it's something. I mean, we're
Right.
looking at it. and We haven't seen this one before.
Yeah.
You know, we've been looking at the same thing for 5 months.
okay, so. We also had,
But,
No, it's kind of like, just more things, it's kind of like, we'll take a look at them. It's,
yeah, yeah.
And just going in, because it's me remembering things too, of, these.
about 63.
63.
Did you skip over, oh yeah, there's
63 right
63,
now.
yeah,
Oh, Board of.
yeah, right there.
The Board of Assessment.
Board of Assessors.
Repair
The
and
equipment.
maintenance of equipment.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That had to do with their, copier, right?
No, I believe that's their software.
Oh, that's right. It was
It's kind
software,
of like,
right.
that's a software one, and that's a contract, so again.
It's a
we're-
Another
contract,
contract?
another contract.
Maybe we should be reviewing the contracts too.
Oh,
I want to see.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and again, because we don't have any lines in here that say software, that's why we're getting
Right.
things that go,
Okay.
why is software in
All right.
repair and maintenance?
Neil,
And so that gets into,
yeah, you can't remember everything.
right,
Can we have, I mean, I know these counting names get assigned to the numbers
Mhm.
in column. Can we have departments rename some of these accounts? Can we ask them to rename, because, so like, change the name from, line 63, where you just talked about, oh, that's a contract. Okay, we'll change it from repair and maintenance equipment to software contract,
Right.
or maintenance contract, or software
Then
and
we'll know
maintenance
what a
contract.
Right.
Yeah,
contract.
because that's
So
misleading,
these
you
are
would
another
never think that was
Right,
a
so that
software
like
line,
anything
by the
that's,
name, you think it's
any
repairing
expense
equipment.
item that's a contract.
Yeah.
Has a line,
Well, it has to be a new line because you still have other things that need to be maintained and repaired.
okay,
Yeah,
In other
but,
words,
Okay.
the machine on which the contract operates may well be just a single maintenance machine that doesn't get you know,
Doesn't have a
doesn't
maintenance
have
contract.
any contract or anything, which is
So, yeah, there's other things.
like your
that-
car, you need an occasional
Was
maintenance on
was
it.
Yeah.
63 a contract, line 63?
To my best recollection, it's
Software
a contract.
contract.
Software
Contract. All right.
That's why that line's name is misleading.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Next page.
Next
But
page.
like, I mean, generally, I'm just kind of saying, if anything that's contracted
Mhm.
could have contracted
In
in
the
the account
description.
name,
Right.
In the account name, yeah.
right? Then, okay, you look at it and say, oh, this is professional services contract.
Yeah.
Well, then you know it's a contract.
Right,
Contract,
exactly.
yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. that's-
And
I
then
mean, I don't know if you can rename any of these accounting line items if you're allowed to do that.
I believe you can. I think it's just a description field in there. but-
in Excel.
But again, then you lose history if you change it now and then go back and look at your FY 25 numbers, it's gonna say the new name.
Yeah.
So we
But
have
wouldn't it
to.
have the same number though? Wouldn't it have the same accounting number?
It would have the same number, but then.
As long as it is the same, I mean, I'm just thinking,
Here's a description.
let's
of
move
the-
forward and get better names on the accounts.
Good
Yeah.
idea.
I agree.
Yeah, or add an account.
Or add a, you know,
Or
like
add a new one.
parentheses
Yeah.
contract, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, or see if there's a long description field that they can use
Right.
to dump out. Kathy, you would,
She suggested the parentheses too.
okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Now, remember, when you take this into consideration, we were looking at 24, 25,
Mhm.
and
Right,
so we
right,
had a little history so that we could.
right, you were looking, you were doing trending,
Mhm.
yeah,
Were we?
it's gonna, yeah,
Oh,
it's a,
cool. All right.
yeah,
So you get it.
you have a term for that.
All right. So let's.
Oh, the tax collector?
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, the 19,000, that.
The tax collector.
What was it?
That was
Do away with the whole
the
department.
assistant being demoted financially.
Okay, so that's opera, yeah. Yeah,
Well,
Wait
no,
a
and there's
minute,
another.
no, that was.
right, well, but that's part of this whole budget, it is now gonna be 100,000 plus this 19 plus.
Plus, because we have no
Right, we did
idea.
an opera fund.
Because they
It's
don't
kinda like-
wanna talk
But
about it.
there were ARPA funds to begin with that job, I mean,
No,
Uh-oh.
there weren't, but we, yeah,
So this $100,000 was discussed today at the
Ah,
department head
okay.
meeting, and
Yeah.
accounting feels, and Katie has talked to the accountant.
Yeah.
That this money cannot be reallocated like that.
okay,
And the Board of Selectmen, the town administrator feels that it can be. The concern that we have is that the money will be taken back from the treasury, and then where are we?
mhm,
If you use it for salaries, then we're cutting hours, I mean, we're violating union contracts.
yeah,
all of
that's,
that. And I have concerns because it comes from my office, even though I'm not gonna be there, but
Right.
the $19,000 won't be there next year.
that's,
And
Yeah.
so is this a way to cut back the hours for 27?
right, and that's
Cut
where,
out the position, maybe.
as we're putting together a budget, that's why I say, I have requested that and started working on one of my own, where what this year is and with these changes, what it's gonna look like in FY 27, because that has to be added back in, plus a raise. It's kind of like,
But
you
isn't that
can't
a
give a
union
raise on
person?
27, you have to give
It's
a
a
raise
union
on the
job.
whole.
that's a union person too.
Yes, that's a union person. Again, they just
They
use,
don't- Yeah, they don't
using
care, they
the
just
amounts,
wanna be paid.
right.
It
It's
doesn't
gonna,
matter
it doesn't matter where it comes from, it's kind of like, it's like the salary lines that said 30,000 and they were getting more money,
So I think there's two things on this, that the salary is still the salary.
Mhm.
And so it shouldn't be changed in the line item. Because it's still the
Okay.
salary, no matter where it comes from. It's the recap sheet, that it's a revenue source. And because of our size, as long as they filed the report today, April 30th,
it had to be filed today,
They
it's,
can only reallocate it to another person with that job description is what the accountant. has
yeah,
said.
but what CSS, the consultant in the National League of Cities, has said is that as long as it's to a pre-existing position and not a new position, it can be reallocated to salaries because of our community size. Award size.
And that gets into, we have to get that straight because our town accountant, we had it in there in the FY '24 budget. And halfway through the year, we did a fall town meeting and took it all out because they said ARPA funds should not be in the budget. So we had the full salaries in there and they had to be removed. So we have to get, we have to get really the answer that's gonna stand for everybody. It's kind of like, because you've got an answer that says you can do it. Our accountant that we contract said, no, you can't. It's kind of like, so we're now in direct conflict with the person that our town accountant signing the
It'd be
paper.
really good to get the accountant person with CSS and to look at the other.
What's CSF?
They're the ARPA consultants that handle ARPA
But
funding.
it's the treasury that's starting to pull back money,
Correct, it's the treasury that pulls,
and they haven't talked to the treasury yet.
most of the other, if you look at other municipalities and how they spend their money, you can see it's like neat little packages. In the guidance does say that if you didn't have a project that fulfilled its budget, you can reallocate to similar project or to salaries. And we're under the thresholds for different rules for the ARPA.
So,
But I agree with you, it shouldn't designate someone as ARPA. If none of the other people designated them in their budgets, if you look at budgets all around, people that helped their municipal budgets with ARPA, they don't indicate ARPA next to them, or decrease their amount of their salary in the budget.
There also hasn't been a select board public meeting where they've even discussed this, so I'm not sure where they even came up with this plan, because there's no meeting where they said, we'll allocate 19,000 of ARPA funding and took a vote on it. They never did that. So I don't know when they discussed it or decided on this, but it certainly wasn't at a public meeting. So I would suggest it hasn't even been allocated, and if it was, then it wasn't the way it should have been.
Yeah, exactly. It needs to be the follow-up and completion of what was done.
Well, I don't want to keep your, I don't.
Yeah, no.
On that one, but just, you're getting the gist of it.
Yeah, I'm getting the gist of it, and then we have to, I'm looking at the tax collector other services now, and I know where budget has the reasoning behind what that line was, so we'll see. So I'm looking at line 90.
Oh, right.
The tax collector other services. It's, okay, so,
I was trying to remember.
yeah, but again, it gets to that, looking at the budget, saying, you know, can you squeeze 8,000 out?
Correct.
Rather than picking a line.
Right, it's not the line, it's the
It's
amount.
the amount in the department, so, yeah,
Right.
okay. Okay, some things that I can work on. I'm looking at this and thinking it's a perfect pivot table that I can do that with. If I, it's,
Yeah, I forget.
What did she say, man after my own?
Pivot tables.
pivot tables, it's kind of like, if I had two fields, let's say, general government
okay.
and whatever the department is, Board of Selectmen, Finance,
Gotcha.
I can bring this column out and say this much in this department.
So he's so
And I-
good at manipulating
Is
those
this fun for
columns.
you?
No.
It sounds like it's fun.
Yeah, I know, you're so passionate about it.
Show up. I'm sure.
Okay.
I still remember how to do things from when I worked.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
Good for your
that
mind.
is good that you do, because I
Yep,
forgot
so
it
can-
all.
Yeah, they get to the annual physical. Are you doing anything? Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing finance committee. Keep it active.
Really? Really? Yeah, so you'll see that there's,
Yeah.
it was based on a lot of different factors, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and then understanding the 19,000 for ARPA, yeah.
Right.
Okay,
With the
yeah,
ARPA funds.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started to come to the Board of Selectmen meetings in June of 2024, to know what my future was gonna be, I remember from that September on, every meeting, they refused to discuss ARPA. They said, well, not tonight, we're not gonna do it.
Mhm.
So I have no idea what to do, but we do care about ARPA because it is our tax money. It's not our,
It is, we needed to use it for things that weren't supporting the operating budget. We needed it for projects, not people, because that's a piece of where we're at in this county.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
get an idea.
I get an idea of it. It's been like
42 years, you're not moving very fast. Oh, 142.
142.
Then let's talk about 142.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That's, you're back to Kathy again,
right,
right?
yeah, that's the one we didn't necessarily get an answer for.
Oh, is that the constable?
That's the constable
Oh,
line.
let's talk about that for 5 seconds. Why is the constable gone? Why can't we know this? Why is it a secret? Veronica, can you answer that for us?
Yeah.
So the thing is, I don't know why they need to have constables. I don't care who the constable is, it's not the person.
Right.
If the criteria's changed, then I don't know what's going on with it. And the current constable is no longer eligible, say.
Okay,
Just
right,
to
okay.
throw it out there. We still need to have constables. It doesn't cost the town any money. And if no one applies, I don't see why we couldn't go to another town, pick it on here, just for an example, because we had a constable who lived in here, who was a constable in here, and worked here. He was appointed here also. So the Townsend would have a constable, but you have to be appointed in the town that you live in, I believe, in order to work in another town.
Okay.
So there are ways around it. And the idea is that it's gonna cost at least $800 more per election. If an election costs between 7 and 8, you're talking 10% increase.
I don't know why we just don't say
So-
that constable.
It should be the application process. Yes, you are eligible, no, you're not.
Right.
But the position is still
But
available.
you should
So
still
it's not
have it
about the
available.
it's not about the person.
It's not about the
It's
person.
about the position. So is that the issue? Is it about the person and we're not getting that information because
And I don't
it's
know.
personal?
Yeah, and I don't know if that's what it is.
We don't know, and that's,
I can guarantee you that it's not about the person. It has more to do about how is the town best protected if in fact a constable has to have a background check. All of our police officers are vetted. They all have had background checks, and we are certain of their eligibility. We do not, with the police officers, we are not putting the town in jeopardy. And there's a lot that's been written. I'm sure that, Kim Craven can talk more about that. And it's been something that's been recommended through MMA. So, and it's been talked about since 2020. And there's a public records request on it, so I'm sure it will appear wherever these public records requests are appearing. So you can all look forward to that. But that's the reason.
okay, that helps. Kim, can you add to that?
So there's constables that are still in use, for, Veronica's saying safety reasons. So we have police in our town. If there's a viable threat, I would think that election workers would be reporting that. I've actually posted some of the classes around election threats. I'm comfortable with our community having a constable present. There's constables that work doing all kinds of other work around civil process and tenant evictions, which can be very heated, and they are capable of doing that through the court system. So I think that we can be well served with a constable in our community.
So can we make a recommendation to keep the constable?
I thought we did that.
We did that.
We
made a
did
motion
that.
to
We've
keep the
done that.
constable.
We did, one
We
of
did.
the,
Do we need to do it again, so it's loud and clear?
I mean, we made the
I
rec,
know, is that it? The board of selectmen just says, okay, you're gone and you disappear the next day?
Yeah,
They,
Oh, they do? Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
I mean, I know we did make the
I thought that there was
recommendation
some
to
kind of
keep it.
democratic process, but, oh, sorry. It's not. It's kind of sad.
It's very sad, it's usually,
Oh, no,
I'm
we're not
kind of
supposed to talk about
surprised,
the
I'm
people,
kind of
but-
surprised that they
but
don't
the
have background
Position
checks.
leaving, I mean, that's an old position, the constables have been around.
she's
for
done it for a long time.
decades.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they don't have a background check too.
They do.
Of
Mm.
course
They
they
do,
do.
of course they do.
Okay.
I was on, Council of Aging, I had to have a background.
Well, yeah, I have to have a Cory check just to chaperone a middle school dance.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, once you go before the school year.
You're there forever.
So that was kind of a weak excuse, but at least we got an answer.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, so PB communication. Yeah, it's a couple dollars here and there, but you know, it's like the piggy bank, every penny counts.
Yep. it does.
The specific legislation around it is not to eliminate them.
Oh, really?
What, I didn't hear what she said.
The specific litigation.
No, the legislation is not to
Legislation.
eliminate them.
Right, so we should get our hands on that. I mean, not that we're gonna protect everybody in the world, but we should know. Okay, land use professional technical services.
What line do you want?
I jumped to 215 because it's 9:01.
Okay, all right, I'm with you. Thank you.
215, like.
Okay,
Maybe you should have gone to 208 first. And then.
Oh, 208, Jerry
Okay.
wants 208,
Okay.
land use wages.
Yeah.
Oh, 58, 51, 51.
then I go down to
30.
part-time.
Part-time, okay.
I think they went down
Oh,
from
yeah.
full-time to
Part-time.
part-time.
right, yeah, it's,
Okay.
Okay, all right.
yeah, and they were
Okay.
gonna, I thought they reduced that in there.
Okay, I'm not even
You thought
sure if
it
it's like
was.
part-time or whether it's like even less than part-time, I forgot.
Hmm,
I think it was 19 hours.
Something, I thought it was like
Fractional.
a
Yeah,
fractional.
Yeah.
and not even fractional, they were going to, I think, contract somebody else.
Oh, yes, I think you're
Yeah,
right.
see, now there
Yeah.
I get,
Yes.
I'd rather say somebody part-time than contract out.
Mhm.
Personally, that's just my,
No, no,
I'm not,
yeah.
I'm not a third-party contract person.
Like a stipend, just bring them in for.
A minute, let them go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just kind of like, not, hire anybody, but find somebody. who
So
does that as a
they would
job.
not get benefits, is that
It's
the
not a benefit, it would not be a benefit.
benefit position? Okay,
It's an-
Land use professional and technical services. So again, land use would get our decision,
Right,
And then
yeah,
they
our
can-
recommendation. see if they can-
recommendation, and then they could,
could come back and say,
well,
yes,
we're gonna give it to something else.
okay.
You don't know what you're talking about, we're gonna do it our way. Police and energy. Oh, yeah. Well, no, that's 25,000,
Hmm,
because it was
Yeah.
28, 31,
Yeah.
31, 25.
yeah.
Not bad.
Oh, well, they got the new,
And they
power-
got the new solar. coming
Solar.
online.
solar,
Correct.
it should
So
save,
they should be making money.
Yeah.
Let's see what,
maybe they can, take the money that they save from, those solar panels and pay for this building or something. Okay.
Were the solar panels paid by a grant from somewhere else?
no, it was contracted out, we hired at least panels, and so the company put them up. And all the construction was all on
So
that.
they're leased.
Not least, it's kind of like, it was sort of, we loaned them the land, they built the function. And
Oh, and
kinda
then they
like,
get,
and we're-
in the
They,
credit,
the
the credit thing.
they get the
So
credit thing.
they don't cost us
They did not cost us and they won't cost us, it's a 10-year
for
contract.
10 years.
Yeah,
And then
I
what
believe it
happens
was
at
10
the
years.
end of 10 years?
But, yeah.
Are we getting used to the,
With the energy.
we are getting the
we are
energy.
getting,
Yeah, that's, I don't know where they're getting any money.
I'm sure if there's anything, it's probably built bigger than what we'll consume. at the police station.
Mhm.
So
And
they're
so
selling it
there's-
and
There's
then
extra energy to sell, use,
they're
yeah.
selling it?
Oh.
But I don't think you get money back, I think you just get credit on
You
it.
just, you usually get credits.
Correct.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think you get
it-
credit.
it-
Somebody-
Yeah, you don't
yeah,
get money.
Yeah.
Like I saw my daughter's bill, she's
Right.
get like a credit. I said, oh,
We get
that's
check in
because
the
that's
bank
myself.
personally.
What?
We get money in the bank.
Do you own yours outright?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think
Yeah,
that's
you're
the
right.
difference
We put the
between
money
the
up front,
lease.
so yeah, so in fact, the electric company, we owe them at the present moment, I'm sitting here,
But you'll get it back.
but I will be going from, red to black as far as my
Right.
lease is concerned.
Yeah, the sun's
And that will
up.
carry me well into February when it starts to go red again, so I don't give them any money. I do pay a mortgage and that's where the money's buried.
And I was just looking at the BDA on the police
Oh
energy.
my
and-
God, I gotta-
Yeah,
What?
Yes, I just, there was a cost up front, and that comes out of my, part of
Oh, I
my,
didn't.
their mortgage
For the
fee.
rec stairs, cemetery says they already did it. It's
yeah.
done.
Oh,
they're
they're
done.
done.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
that's what
they're
I'm saying. That money was left over from,
Oh, leftover money,
yeah, that was leftover money that we're transferring in.
got it, okay.
Yeah.
Leftover.
Okay,
Did we pay cemetery? Maybe that's why it's leftover, we didn't pay them.
No, they ended up doing the work for the stairs. Cemetery did.
That was nice enough. So, yeah, we wanted to spend a little bit more time on police and fire overtime, just to get a feeling for, because they have per diems and then they have,
Detail, they have overtime, they have
Yeah,
detail
it's-
pay.
It's
they-
it's a
we
lot
need
deeper
more,
than you.
we need more, a deeper dive.
Okay.
Yeah, they get all kinds of rates depending on what
Yeah.
they're
And what
doing.
they
Mhm.
Yeah.
doing on top.
Deeper
Yeah.
dive, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, looking at the BVA, you can see where the overtime are running to.
Yeah,
Overtime is at the end of March was already at 96% for the year. There's only $5,000 left in it for police.
At the end of March,
And
that's,
fire was at 182% used on overtime.
right, that was one of
And-
the red flags.
yeah.
Now, I know you can't predict fires and things like that, but you just wonder how they're doing and who's doing it and what
Well,
the
they,
criteria, who's available, who's not.
they have a lot of software.
I think, this is Veronica Cal, the overtime in fire this year, the overage is because of the amount of time that Townsend has spent supporting other towns, especially in the EMS area. It also is affected by the distance that they have to go because of the closure of Neshoba and the time that is involved in getting there. And that's all I'll say on that, but that is the reason for the fire overage this year.
Okay. So, but again, it's not a line item, it's
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
statement.
would it be possible for the FinCom to ask, what specifically has been done to recoup funds from Pepperell, from the ambulance closing, even if it's the specific
Yeah.
ambulance, they have an offset to their ambulance the same as we did. And I understand the chief, has received it, it's allocated to outfit the ambulances, which is great. That helps defer our costs in the future. And then if Pepperell's not running their ambulance, what are they gonna do with it? How are they gonna reimburse us? What is that process? And then the second most important part is the 10 million that was allocated recently, that the director of DPH is working on the language for the grant allocation for the additional funds for the communities affected by the closure, which in my understanding of it, will have more flexibility to pay for operations and staffing and stuff, not just limited to the outfitting. So if there's any way that FinCom can find that out, I think that will help the planning process moving forward. Because given that it will be hitting in the FY 26, hopefully that will alleviate some of the, the fire department pressures around that. And hopefully there's a target for recapturing some of that from Pepperell too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we tried to
As
talk
community members, we should know how that is, and obviously, we would want Pepperell to accommodate our needs too, so it's not upset about the needs. Trying to manage the health and wellness of our neighbors is important too, but being reimbursed for our taxpayers is just as much so.
Yeah, it's, we can ask and see where there is, get explanations.
We should
Okay.
definitely ask.
We don't, yeah.
We don't ask, we'll never know.
Yeah.
Okay, the warden, the tree warden. What's this tree number?
Down to.
The solid waste, where is it, solid waste. Oh, no, let's pick up, I don't know where I saw the solid waste.
Solid waste is further down.
No, I mean, as a revolving account, I remember that, and I'll find it. I won't go to sleep until I find it.
65.
Lots of landfill engineering professional services. Landfill engineering, okay, I gotta remember that, that's item number, 642.
642.
Okay, because we skipped over fire and police basically.
Okay.
Right, because
Okay.
we need a deeper dive.
Okay.
And this was, landfill engineering and professional services.
I think that's another contract,
Oh, is that a contract?
That's a contract.
A third party contract?
I believe
It
so,
is for
yeah.
the closing and monitoring of the old landfill,
Oh. Okay. Oh, you know that.
and that was reduced.
Because he's got a good memory.
He
'Cause I
does,
remember
yeah.
when he said that, I says, oh yeah, that's right. We discussed that before about, that was a contract for monitoring the landfill.
Right.
And I think they even reduced it from
Yeah,
They may
earlier.
have.
Yeah.
Peach. Yeah. Health insurance. Now, that's a whole other ball of wax.
Right, that's,
I mean, we can't even address that this year, but I do think that as FinCom, we should be really on top of that, if no one else is doing it.
The insurance.
Yes,
Well,
and
maybe
look at
they-
those, recurring, we all know,
Well, they should be going out.
no kidding.
Bidding out insurance.
well, in the next contract, there should be a larger employee contribution too. That's another way. you
Oh,
keep
there's
it
another,
close.
oh, there's
Yeah.
another avenue, that's true, I mean, no
I
one
mean,
wants to hear
you-
that,
you-
but that's a negotiation.
That has to
Yeah,
be negotiated in
yeah.
a contract,
See,
right?
that's where I'm really thinking, I loved your idea of having a FinCom person there, but I really think we have to go next level, because we have some outrageous things going on in the contract. I'm not outrageous, but severely beneficial on the part of the employee, not that they don't need it,
Right.
but we're handcuffed to freeze them or reduce them when we're in a crisis, and that's where I think the key negotiations with.
Because if we could save on some of the I mean, and it's not a lot, but everybody's got a clothing allowance.
Of $850.
Six what?
600, it depends on the.
Well, it's
department and
between
the
Some of them were
$650.
$850.
Yeah, 600 to
And
850.
some-
Well,
Someone-
I'm talking about fire.
I think one was
A lot of conversations, yeah.
I know the school's working on looking into an opt-out incentive for health insurance. Maybe that's something the town should consider, and since it's such a high cost, it would cost a little less to offer some sort of a
Right,
A stipend for someone who's not using
Not
it,
using
yeah.
it.
at a
Yeah.
lower rate, where they could maybe get on their spouses if that's an option or
Mhm.
something like
Well,
that.
that's,
Just something to think about for future.
that's true. If your husband has health insurance, because I did work for a company where I opted out of,
Mhm,
and I got an increase in pay. They gave me a little bit more money,
mhm.
you know, because I didn't take the insurance,
Yeah,
so I
no,
was
I-
actually saving them.
I had the
Yeah.
same thing in a company. I mean, it wasn't much. I think I got
Yeah.
$250 or something. like
No,
that.
it wasn't much, but
right.
It was something.
it was
It was
something.
something until it went
Dinner.
away. You
Out to
know,
dinner
I
one night.
had one too, like that, kind of like.
But that's gotta be, I mean,
That's contract negotiation.
that's kind of right.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
the
That's
problem
it.
with the
I think
It
at
is.
that level.
municipal employee, you collective bargaining. I mean, that
That,
didn't exist until the 1960s.
That's right.
is that true?
Yeah. FDR said government employees should not be doing collective bargaining. That was the one place he didn't feel unions had any place.
I wonder who changed that rule.
Kennedy.
John?
Yep.
Oh, well, I can't say. So I really think that we have to do a deeper dive. It's been a great year, but we don't know everything yet. What, you don't know?
No, I'm saying it's a little late to do a deeper dive.
No, we can't. No, I'm not saying for now. No. What's done is done, but
For the next
year, I
I think
really
we should
think
start early.
we're gonna do
Yeah.
this.
I really do.
We're gonna do
Yeah.
this job. We
Yeah.
I'd
gotta
like
go
to send,
another
I'd like
way.
to have that letter sent out much earlier and then start going to see them,
Yeah,
you know, because a couple of times we wanted somebody to come in and they, I don't know, it just got squashed in the process.
Couple of times.
Well, I know, I'm just being nice.
Yep, it happened.
It did happen. And we all know it was.
So,
okay.
okay, and I appreciate the work that was done to produce this. I know budget is not.
It's not fun
It's
at
not-
all.
it's-
It's like, get me out of this room right now.
It's kind of,
Yeah.
So I do appreciate the work. We'll try formatting it a little bit and then. go
Cleaning
back
it
and
up.
look.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's something, because if we're not gonna have, what are we gonna sit up there and say to the
Mhm.
townspeople? I mean, they told us what they want, now,
Right, it's kind of
we
like.
gotta
the
give
way-
it back.
Right. And this is trying to do it without cutting.
Without cutting salaries, because we're sensitive to people who need a job.
Mhm, right,
And we're not being authoritative to say to the department head, you must do this.
And,
Here's your
Right.
budget, figure it out.
Yeah.
and the other part that we haven't necessarily done in here is taking a look at the original budget and seeing what they've cut already from the cut. There's some of those that have already been cut.
Right.
Dawn, this is Veronica Cal. I just have to put a word in here.
Yep.
Nelson did talk to every department head. And that is how the cuts to expenses happened. It is
Correct.
because, and each of the department heads made their own choices in the cuts to the expenses. So I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about.
Okay, what was presented here with the,
No, go ahead.
yeah, with the lines that were highlighted in peach that we've been displaying and looking at, some of the lines that were cut were expenses, and I know they've already been cut. So that's why I was making the comment that we have to look at the cuts that have already been made. And if we're suggesting this, and again, I think it comes back to suggesting it and taking it away from the line that maybe have been produced, but taking it so that it's more, can you find this amount in your budget in addition? It's kind of like, and that's the piece, again, looking at some of the lines, like you said, the contract for the town accountant, and I know it had been Markham with somebody else, it's Cirrus or something that line was suggested as a cut highlighted in peach, but we know it's already been adjusted and the contract has been written for the amount of work that Katie feels is gonna be needed by them this year.
And
So-
that was gone over in a selectmen's meeting mid-March or so.
and that's-
So these additional cuts that you guys are making to departments with the peach colors, you're making without the approval of the department heads, correct?
Correct, we said we would take.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that's clear. Thank
This was
you.
a suggestion, you know, yeah.
Donna, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you with, the select board person talking over you. Could you repeat what you were saying? I'm sorry.
I was saying that, there have been cuts from the original FY 26 budget. There have been cuts to the expense lines. So I don't want to go back and say, these are the lines that we're suggesting being cut. And again, that's where I was talking about going in with the pivot table, creating, you had an amount for the department. So by doing that and coming up, we can say, can you go back? We go back to the department heads and say, look at these, can can you come up with something that matches the numbers we're suggesting? And see if they have it, because cutting lines that may have already been cut it is already tough on them because they've already gone in and looked at it and tried to shave it. a
Well,
little
we've seen
more.
the second budget that was supposed to have been written really nice.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
It was a real spin.
Right.
It-
So,
Yeah.
on that, Mr. Chairman, what I'm wondering is that the question to you was from last night, when you
Mhm.
found out kind of what was being produced, and some of the members saw 9 line items come out of an executive session.
Yep.
Not talked about publicly. My guess is that the department heads did not know or have input on those cuts that were being made because it wasn't public, it was done in executive session. So at some point, they've known that. So I would like to say to the FinCom, I appreciate that you took a second dive in looking at a budget in a way that gave the department heads some autonomy and doing it in a public meeting to talk about it and give people an opportunity to weigh in. I think is a very transparent and thoughtful way of going about it, rather than doing it in a closed session.
Right.
And coming out thinking that our community can knowledgeably vote yes or no on a budget, that my guess is that the department heads had no opportunity to weigh in on. So
Could I speak again?
Yep.
I just need to speak for Nelson. He isn't here, but he has spoken to all the department heads that he could speak to. There are union considerations if someone is a union head or steward or whatever in charge of a department, and there is someone in that department that needs that. In any event, it is all union related. It is to keep the town out of legal jeopardy with unions, and Nelson has had the discussions that we were able to vote on the budget lines. And Dawn, you have the budget that Nelson provided to you as a result, the line item budget. I haven't seen you project it tonight. I've seen you project Mary Jane's budget, but not that one. So it's a little,
it was up here. It's kind of like we started with that.
but you didn't go through it the way you went through the one with the peach, correct? Or did I miss something completely?
We did not, because it doesn't have all the details in it. It's kind of like, I still have to prepare that in such a way that we can look at it and find the differences.
Those salary lines are all zeroed with a total salary, because we are not able until after town meeting to talk to the unions.
So if I don't have any information that I can compare and bring up, then I got nothing that we can really review. I mean,
What you can review is the difference between the salary lines with the, if the override had passed, and the salary lines, total salary lines that Nelson added in. The total salary lines, you can compare those. So if you go down to accounting, for example.
Hang on,
we didn't consider salaries.
No.
Yeah, so Mr. Chairman, may I commandeer your meeting for a minute, because it's unfortunate that for whatever reason, interestingly enough, we are not allowed to speak at the select board meeting, but the select board meeting does like to talk to us at your meeting, so I am gonna take a liberty here, so I appreciate it, Mr.
Go right
Chairman.
ahead.
What I find extremely interesting is that you and your team are looking as thoughtfully as you possibly can at what options might be available to save salaries and to be transparent to the department heads about their ability to manage their departments. But it does appear that the select board went into executive session and determined for the department heads where they thought that they should cut within their departments, and not giving them the ability to maybe think of what areas they might want to cut into their department. So I think there is a striking difference between the approach, and I can see that difference. And in looking at other municipal budgets and taking a lot of time today to try to see others that have made cuts, I haven't seen the occasion to go into executive session to talk about things and come out with a trash cut that wasn't talked about.
The trash cut was discussed at the 4/16 meeting when the override was presented. Anybody who thought that trash would remain without the override in the omnibus budget somehow missed something. To insinuate that there was nothing done with department heads and to totally disconsider the fact that we are working with collective bargaining agreements is just absolutely in error. That's all I can say to that.
I'm not dismissing it, I'm just saying the process is different. And to be clear, it is the responsibility of the select board to present a budget to the townspeople that is a balanced budget that shows where we're at. And there was never once a budget that came forward with funding available that did not include a 2.5 override to show the townspeople and the voters what would be included and what would not be included without an override. That's step one, to show that, and then anything else that was needed. So that never happened.
I look forward, Kim, to the school committee budget that comes in for FY25 that has no more than a 2.5% increase over what it was this year. I look forward to that. If as much effort is put into doing that with the department that is the biggest part of our town budget, I will be thrilled. But we have done the very best that we can in a very difficult situation that was brought forward.
It's kind of where I am here as a resident.
Yeah, so.
Wow.
Sorry, we're gonna.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Exactly, thank you, whoever you are.
I do see the line that we're looking at is, we have the treasurer, and then the collector salaries, we don't have the individual pieces, but there's a total in the override, showing the override.
Well, what we went through with the Peach is,
Yeah.
we didn't wanna cut salaries, we didn't wanna have
Right.
to deal with
So
that,
you-
because we were
right.
told that one of our boards was
Mhm.
unqualified, our TA didn't wanna do it, so we had one person.
Right,
I mean-
it's kind of, right.
And we were told last night at the Board of Selectmen meeting that we were not gonna be able to share what they know.
Mhm.
So we had to do something
Right.
for the
We were
people.
taking-
It's about the people,
we
not
were-
about the board, it's about the
we were-
people, and that's what we represent. Oh, I'm getting upset.
So,
Okay,
it's kind of-
breathe,
take a breath, breathe, it's kind of like weird. But again,
drain.
just getting it and having 3.5 hours to try to prepare wasn't enough time to go in and identify all these lines, but I can certainly take the time now and work towards it, and we
Thank
can
you
take
very
a look.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's kind of like, and we'll look at both, and again, your effort was not to cut into the salaries, so it's kind of like, and make recommendations, including going into the stabilization fund.
And I
to
can
try
tell
to-
you this one thing, if I was gonna look at we're
Mhm.
gonna look at the salaries, it would be across the board, everybody gets the same cut. It wouldn't be, oh, I like you, so you're gonna have this, oh, I don't like you, so you gotta go. It would be across the board. So that would be a number that you could pick, whatever the percentage is, that's a math problem.
Got a formula.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are
We're
at
done.
9:29, which is what we've been doing for our 3-hour limit. So I will,
I will
and I
make the
appreciate
motion,
all the time that everybody has spent.
and thank you for letting us present what we thought
I
was an
think-
effort on behalf of the
Yeah.
town's
It's been
Excellent
taxpayers.
and
effort.
there's been a lot of
Thank you,
effort.
Thank you.
Sam. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your hard work.
um,
It was hard.
I know,
Midnight.
I know it was hard work.
You got any box of cookies?
I would have been drinking wine.
No, wine. We had to move forward on something much better than
I'd like to
wine.
make a motion that we adjourn.
Yes.
I'll second it.
Second.
At 9:29, we had a motion to adjourn in the second.
At 9:29.
Let's go one more
Mary
roll
Jane
call.
Churchville,
Jerome Bezikas,
A.
Dave Walker, yes.
Whatever, yes.
Okay.
Carol Hoff says yes.
Yes, we're unanimous.
Not zoning, no.
Stand adjourned at
I'm on his.
9:29.